Ew, pre-rolls?
Yeah.
Gross. Tell them not to.
I know, they're so mean. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, it's easy to get them off, you just have to run more ads.
Yeah, I kind of use the time for people to show up. Because I figure that's the best way to do it, at least, is to, like, treat it like time for people to show up.
I have, I don't remember what the timer is, but I have an ad to, well, no, because pre-rolls run when someone opens your stream, not when your stream starts.
Right, right. Now, I have it set so the ads come up at certain times.
Yeah.
So... Alright,
Hello there.
let's see. Oh! Somebody redeemed something. Hi! Okay, hang on. I know I'm live and I'm on. I'm trying to do something here.
As you're walking on it.
Okay, hang on. Wait. Oh yeah, my mic is on. My desktop audio is on. Okay, everybody can hear me. Hi.
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 Ahoy hoy.
Okay, so I am going to
Win.
we are all going to win.
Really? I'm gonna marry the fish girl?
You can.
Yes. We're gonna go to prom, we're gonna have a prom baby.
Oh my god.
And then we're gonna get married.
That's great, and you'll live under the sea. And you'll have people who eat your food for you.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
grab your stuff. We're gonna start a new life under the sea. Under the sea.
Know what that is from.
Under the sea.
There'll
No
be
more accusations.
Just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
You know, classic, like, older Simpsons. One of the
Oh.
best things in the world.
Oh yeah. Homer, that's always your solution to everything. Go under the sea. It's not gonna happen. Not with that attitude.
Okay, I'm just gonna wait a little bit just to make sure those commercials play and then go away.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna vamp for a little bit and listen to really cool Monster Prom music. Nice. Okay. Or not. I don't know. There. I'm just gonna move everybody over so they're slightly more centered. Let's see. Alright, so everything's set. Everybody can be heard, I believe. Everything's good. Alright. Okay. Oh, there's the ad warning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go grab some water. Because I just realized I drank a whole bunch, so I'll be right back.
Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
my ads set to the absolute minimum because I know my viewers would hate ads, and I do too. I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to gain, man.
Oh, I'm most definitely in this for the money. I'm on the other sites that I'm multi-streaming on for the not money. Twitch can give me money. The other sites I get nothing from. Alright, so data related. Let's go to external funds. Where is it? Oh wait, I could just text search.
So I've never played this game. Is this like one of those like dating sims that they had
Yeah,
on
it's-
Newgrounds back in the day?
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
the exact same thing.
I was good at those. The first game that wasn't a Sega game that I was actually kind of good at.
Why? Okay, I'm logged into Steam on the Steam client, and apparently I have to log in again just to see, like, well, I guess that makes sense, because it's money related.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Use the Steam mobile app to confirm your login.
La la la.
Steam. Approve sign-in? Yes, please.
Alright, ads are starting soon. They'll be done soon.
That sounds like they were
Bull
starting a minute
fucking
ago.
shit.
The ads?
Hockey.
Okay, so Steam claims I've spent $79,000. There is no fucking way. I don't make that much.
Yeah.
How in the hell would I have spent $79,000 on Steam?
Can you
That
claim it on
is
your
Not
taxes?
over the life of the thing?
Oh my god, if I could claim that on my taxes, that'd be great.
That'd be fantastic.
No, this is clearly just like fake assumptions.
So I have a question.
Yo.
Should we play a short game or a full game?
Let's play a
I'm
short
okay with
game.
either.
Let's play a short
okay.
game for the benefit of those that have not played it before.
Play a
Right.
short game first, and then immediately follow up with a long game.
And then we'll be up for like 12 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And, alright. And are we going to do our own voices for the characters?
Oh,
I think.
Because
a lot
that's
of the voice
part of
lines
the
are
fun.
already voiced for us. Like,
Yeah.
the game has voice lines built in.
True, but we can choose whether we want to listen to, you know, all the original voices or if we want to do voices as well.
I think not knowing this, I thought I selected, or at least I believe I selected the built-in game voices.
Okay, we can do that.
As long as it doesn't sound like text-to-speech.
No, it doesn't. Most of the voices in this game are from streamers. Like
okay.
Jacksepticeye does the voice of Calculester.
Oh, okay.
So they're all voices of well-known streamers that most people know. It's actually pretty funny because Calculester does not have an Irish accent. He sounds like a computer, but that's Jacksepticeye.
Yeah.
So you know it's pretty fun.
Oh, you know who would have been good for this game? Spooky Cat Kevin. He's got that Tony J level voice.
All right, the ad break will be over in 1 minute.
Oh, I
Yay!
need to grab a soda. Oh shoot, you know, that's fine.
Yeah, if I knew when my ad breaks were coming, I would go on proper.
Oh, if
You can
if
say
you
it to
keep
warn
your
you.
yeah, if you there's a setting on Twitch to give you a warning.
Oh, okay.
I also use a bot to say something in chat when it starts and when it ends.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps to know because I get a 3-minute warning. And you can set the amount of time you get for the warning.
Okay. Just learning stuff, here, there, and everywhere. Just making sure that I'm getting the right stuff. Just make sure that, I spent a good portion of the afternoon after my dentist appointment getting my alerts, getting my alerts fixed.
All right, my ads are up. Everybody ready to go?
I am pouring my drink right now. Give me a very brief moment.
Okay.
I am pouring a can into a cup so that I can mix it with another drink quickly.
Maybe what we can
Because-
do is introduce ourselves in alphabetical order. That way SwimmingLink,
Oh, hey.
SwimmingLink is last.
Do it!
All right. Okay. So, in alphabetical order, I'm Aspen Dracaena. I am your friendly...
Such a cute laugh.
I am your friendly neighborhood Ice Dragon Bookwyrm VTuber. And these are some of my really awesome friends today. They're here to have a lot of fun playing this really silly game that I've played before. Ocha, I think that means you're next if we go by alphabetical order.
Yeah, we're the awesome friends, not the lame ones.
Yeah, yeah. The lame front ones, I just like, I leave them, at home.
In the basement.
Yeah, in the
Oh.
basement. They can hang out in the basement with the spiders.
Oh
Well-
no.
I'm Ocha. I am a T-Dog. I stream on Twitch, and I've started posting my videos on YouTube, so those will be uploading there soon.
Yay. And then Panda.
Yes, hello and good evening, everybody. My name is PandaHeroRoux. I am your Quebecois red panda boy. I stream exclusively on Twitch because I cannot be arsed to cut my videos and put them on YouTube. I just do not have enough hours in the day right now. So
Do you
maybe
export your raw VODs to YouTube?
I do not.
Oh, you should do that.
I don't know.
That's what I do.
We should all have managers who can do that for us.
Right.
Eh. My turn?
Yeah.
That's me. Yes, and SwimmingLink, you may.
Alright, I am SwimmingLink, an elven mermaid VTuber. I love you all. You are all amazing. I currently stream on Twitch, Kick, and Trovo because Mixer died, VStream died, Twitter doesn't let me live stream there anymore because now they want money for that. Where else have I streamed? I don't know.
Twitter.
Other places.
Twitter.
Yeah.
We shall. I think we have all been mourning at the grave of Twitter since, since Elon bought it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. It's a.
It was already overstaying its welcome at the dance, and now with Elmo's big, grand, awful ideas,
Yeah.
he's going to do something stupid meme just speaks for itself every single time.
Yeah.
Do we need to post it? Because I mean, that might as well be.
Right.
Do we need to post it every single time?
Right. Yeah. I think we should move on to the awesomest game ever. Well, maybe not the awesomest game ever, but it is really a lot of fun. So we are going to do the short game and see how long that goes. I'll read the narration if you guys want me to.
Sure.
Spooky high school, the sweetest years of our lives. Back then, we were young and unafraid. Sometimes reckless, sometimes brilliant, sometimes just stupid, but always willing to live life to the fullest. We were on a wild journey to discover who we really were. Alright, I think I'm player one, because I started the thing. Well,
Hopefully.
I'll be Blue Girl,
Okay.
but my name's not Vicky.
It's not blue either.
No, it's not!
Oh.
Okay. Alright, who's
it's
player
me.
two?
Okay.
Not me. Oh, and your name's not Brian?
No,
Or
it's
green.
Or Green?
not. Brian Green.
Okay, me. I'll be hot.
Just going down the line.
Amira?
I mean,
Should I be
here
Amira?
we go.
No, you're all naming yourself.
I don't know. I think it's a little bit easy. Swim.
Yeah, let's stick with that. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, and I guess I will change my name.
You're not Oz?
No. I'm Ocha.
Yay. And we had yet to experience its ultimate challenge, the Monster Prom.
Is prom supposed to be a challenge?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I never went to prom. I did my
didn't-
homework for a cinema class instead, just to go see a movie. It was a lot more fun.
I didn't go to prom until after I graduated.
I went to 4
Prom,
proms.
and I wish I had.
Lucky. I had so many teachers like questioning why I was there. They're like, you graduated, and I'm like, yeah. I was invited by someone who didn't yet.
Right. All right. I remember it clearly. 2 weeks were left, and as we fantasized about our dream prom dates, we were all scrambling to catch the attention of one of our 6 most charismatic classmates. Okay, who has charisma at this school? Miranda Vanderbilt, 19. A sweet mermaid princess who was as cute as she was genocidal.
I love her.
Damien LeVay, 21. These guys must have been held back in school. That's all I'm saying. A fearless demon with a taste for destruction and a love of fire. Scott Howell, 21. A werewolf athlete who compensated for his rather small brain with a stupidly huge heart. Liam de Lioncourt, for something years old. A hipster vampire whose standoffish demeanor hid that he was truly a lovable dork. Polly Geist, 22 ? A party ghost with an insatiable hunger for all the wrong things.
She died when she was 22.
Yes. And Vera Oberlin, 23. A mean self-made Gorgon with a merciless sense of business. It was clear it had to be one of them. But who? We only had 2 weeks to choose our prom date, and even more daunting, we had only 2 weeks to woo them and conquer their heart. But as I already said, we were young and unafraid, and we were ready to start. All right. Look, it's Miranda. Welcome to Monster
on the cover
Prom's...
of Teen Wolf magazine.
Right. Welcome to Monster Prom's stupidest pop quiz ever. All minds are rotten, but they are rotten in so many different ways. Worry no more. We're using our PhD in bullshit to diagnose which kind of deviant sicko you are. Monster Prom's stupidest pop quiz ever trademark will throw a bunch of absurd questions at you and turn your answers into your character's stats. This way, each of you will start by having stats that better reflect your true selves. Let's start.
Why'd I get nervous all of a sudden?
I don't know. It's a test.
Because it's a test, yeah.
All right. Which inanimate object do you think would make the best girlfriend or boyfriend provided you went criminally insane? An ATM. Right? What? All right, an ATM, sugar baby, life, here I come, a dildo, duh, a human-sized pillow. Okay, and by the way, this game is not very safe for work, so if you're concerned about those things, you know, it's a bit racy.
Though.
It is. A human-sized pillow depicting a character created by myself. As a matter of fact, I have all the needed paperwork, and I'm only waiting for the conservative, narrow-minded laws of our country to finally step forward into waifu and husbando territory, as was clearly intended by God. You know, I'll just take the ATM. Yeah, Japan would do it. I'll just take the ATM. That's practical.
Yeah, ATM, easiest.
A dildo, duh.
I guess an ATM,
I
right?
kind
I'm
of feel
just
like I
too
should have done the last one.
So wealthy, so
I
fun,
know,
so
the
great.
last one's kind of fun. Okay,
Yeah.
be a visionary. What will be the next big social media craze? Greek agoras, like literal Greek agoras, reinstated in our cities, places where philosophy and arts are discussed by the greater minds. That's social media I want to log into.
That'd be funny.
Bullshit. It's your regular social network, but each time someone shares news that isn't supported by real facts, they're taxed and the money goes to the people exposed to that bullshit. I would like that for Twitch
Yeah.
and Twitter and everything. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot Arbert
From
from
now on, a socially awkward guy named Robert will do everything he's commanded to do through the app by its users. Oh, that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
That's like that's almost like one of the Jim Carrey movies, like Yes Man or Liar Liar.
Yeah.
I like this. Greek agoras.
Bullshit.
I think I'm also going Greek agoras.
Hey, I'm smart.
Okay, hang on a sec. And hi Joker, how you doing? Somebody in my chat. Your partner just gave you a cool gift for your anniversary, but you totally forgot. Quick, come up with an idea for a great gift. A silly toy that makes silly noises, a pony, always a pony, the head of their fiercest enemy, the abstract concept of gratefulness, anything capable of leading them to an overdose of some sort, anything on fire or a weapon. No, a weapon of fire. A weapon of fire. You see, I'm more likely to give the abstract concept of gratefulness or a silly toy that makes silly noises. I don't know. Because I like making people laugh. I'm just going to do the abstract concept of gratefulness.
Well, as Conan the Barbarian once said, you crush the enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women.
Always a pony.
I'm gonna say anything on fire.
Yes, I got fish girl.
Okay, let's see.
All right, I'm doing something right so far.
All right.
Oh, only two
So
questions.
my
Wow.
lowest score is in boldness.
Yeah,
That's
Oh, wow,
worrisome.
I told you to be
Okay.
Yeah,
bold. What are
mine
you
is-
doing?
I know. I usually am bold. Like, look at how I handled the mortuary assistant on Sunday. I was pretty bold then. All right. Let's see. So auditorium.
Oh wait, did
class-
we see the stats of whose turn it is, or do we see our stats?
I think we see our stats.
Yeah, just ours.
Yeah. So my smarts
Does
are.
ever-
Well, you got 9 money. That's actually really
Yeah,
good.
my smarts
Oh,
are
okay, yeah,
7,
so
my
it's ours.
boldness is
Yeah.
3, creativity is 5, charm is 4, fun is 5, and money is 9.
So you're
Okay.
preppy.
Identical to me.
I'm gonna go to the library.
I think it's showing current user. Current player.
Yeah.
Just the current user, yeah.
Yeah, it is, because
Oh, yeah,
it'll
'cause
probably
there's
be in
four,
the...
There's 4 papers on the
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Okay,
Right.
that makes sense.
Okay. I'm going to the library. That day he spent some time on the library's PC sending malicious spam emails in the hopes of stealing other people's money.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very nice, but who's really the one to blame if they respond to such a blatant scam?
Yep, real
You lose
nonsense.
minus 10 karma, which isn't a stat in this game, so who cares? And you gain plus 2 money. But Liam isn't paying attention to any of that. He corners you afterwards to lecture you on momentgram filters. What no one seems to understand about filters is that they're not about making pictures better. They're about making pictures browner and harder to see. That's why I use my own proprietary filter for almost all my photos. Infinite taupe. It's also probably why I have only 6 momentgram followers, but we must all make sacrifices for our art. In any case, I have to go. There's a dead rat in the parking lot. I simply must document. As soon as Liam's gone... Oh, hi, Wit! How are you doing? As soon as Liam's gone, Miranda peeks out of an air conditioning duct. Goodness. I guess I'm just gonna read this, because I don't have the voices. Oh my gosh! Hi! Thank you for the raid so much, Wit. Alright, so should I do a cutesy, like, mermaid girl voice? Would that be nice for everybody? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Goodness! The situation is even more dire than I thought. If Operation Make Liam Popular Again is to succeed, we must get started immediately. What's that? Why, yes. Of course you're part of my operation. I unwillingly force people into my service all the time. Oh, you want to know why it's called Operation Make Liam Popular Again? Well, he's been alive for, like, centuries, right? I'm sure he must have been popular at some point. I'll check the history books later. There's no time now. Phase 1 is getting Liam more momentgram followers. I took the liberty of having my royal spies discover the password to his account so we can give it a total makeover. But what to do? Alright, let's see. Use his account to post a bunch of porn and bomb recipes. Pay 1 million homeless people to follow Liam on Momentgram.
The answer seems rather clear to me.
I feel like I know what I should do, but I feel like doing the one I probably should not do. I'm gonna do the one that I don't think I should do because I have played this game before. You know what? I'll do the one I think I should do. Ah, yes. Just as father pays millions to vote for him in our fair and democratic elections. In fact, I think I can cut costs by paying one of father's clonesmiths to simply replicate the same 1,000 people 1,000 times. You ask Miranda if she thinks this is ethical, but she's as confused about the meaning of ethics as she is about fair and democratic elections. Soon the plot and the requisite clones are hatched. You run into Liam in the halls a few hours later. I am distraught. My carefully husbanded unpopularity is crumbling before my eyes. Look at all these followers. Look at their comments. Totally real account 66. I love you, Liam. Another equally real account. You're so obscure and avant-garde. The sentiments they are expressing are objectively correct, and yet no, I cannot give in to the lure of the limelight. In spite of this, Liam seems to be enjoying himself quite a bit. You spend the rest of the day helping him curate his feed, gaining +2 charm and +1 fun in the process.
You did good.
Okay. So, it looks like I got a little bit of everything. 9 smarts, 5 boldness, 2 creativity, sounds about right. 5 charm, 5 fun, and 7 money. Who shall I... Guy? What's a guy?
What's a guime?
Takes place. Everything seems lost, but you deliver an inspirational speech that fuels your team's spirit, leading to a spectacular comeback. You're clearly a natural-born leader. You gain +2 charm. After the game, you spot Vera desperately trying to ignore Coach. You go over to see if you can help. I'm just trying to help you be your best self, Vera. That's what custom workouts are for. Why would I need to do that? I'm already better than everyone else. Maybe, but are you better than yourself? No, how is that even possible? With custom workouts. Workouts give us buff arms and strong hands. So that we can strangle our past selves? So we can hug our present selves and shake hands with our future. Oh, I like mine better. But even so, the custom workout you suggested is not for me. You don't like the 1,000,000 push-up system? Oh, okay. You can make up your own workout. Just think of something you're good at and a workout to make you even better at it. Vera's thinking, but you already know the perfect workout. You shout out, deadlifts. You'll need the strength when you're lifting bags of gold coins out of your enemy's vaults. Burpees. They make your nails look incredible for some reason. Let me see. Deadlifts? Bags of gold coins. I don't even know what she likes.
She's all about money.
Yeah, she is?
She's
Okay.
all about money.
So definitely this. Deadlifts. The lifts of the dead. Even better than alive lifts. Yeah, that's great. You mentioned lifting bags of gold? Well, sure, you can deadlift bags of gold, but there are many other things to deadlift as well. Like barbells, groceries, small children, mid-sized sedans. Right. Are any of those things made of gold? Or at least coated in gold? Well, no, not usually, but we can... Then why don't we start with bags of gold for now? Great idea. And then we can work our way up to other bigger bags of gold, yes! Coach has no choice but to divert some of the school's budget to purchasing workout quality bags of gold into blue. Bags of gold balloons. You steal some and gain +2 money and +1 boldness.
Nice.
Alright. Bathroom? Why would I not want to go to the bathroom? Alright, 6 smart, 4 bold, 4 creativity, 5 charm, 7 fun, 7 money. That's fairly rounded.
Yeah, you're pretty well rounded there.
That day you skip class and just hang out in the bathroom because you respect no authority. I guess some people just want to watch the world burn. By skipping class and hanging out in the bathrooms. You give +0 shits, but you gain +2 boldness. Woe is me! Could Miranda possibly be doing this because she wants attention? Only one way to find out. Oh, hello, I didn't see you there as I was standing here suffering gallantly. In silence. She did, and she wasn't. Wait, what? She did, and she wasn't. But okay, wait, what? I'm not processing what that's saying. She did, and she wasn't, but okay.
She did,
I
and
don't
she's...
know.
Yeah.
I had the most tragic injustice befall me earlier this morning. Oh, hey, I can see everyone's stats. I had the most tragic injustice befall me earlier this morning. I was rejected from our school's water polo team. They claimed I was mistaken about how polo is conducted underwater. Excuse me, but I was raised underwater. How is one even supposed to play water polo without a heavily armored seahorse as a mount? How, I ask you? Perhaps I offended them when I implied they were too impoverished to afford sea steeds. Ugh, I am exhausting my breath. If so, why? I would love to make reparations. God, I suck at reading. But it may be too soon for me to show my face. Would you be so kind as to take them the gifts of this omelet to begin the healing? I am told that peasants consider eggs to be a delicacy. Wait, did you make them from your own eggs? We were supposed to be making our babies together. Obviously. And what would make the gesture even better is the personal touch of... Alright, toppings, caviar, eel, chocolate-covered sand crabs. We'll never forget this was a present from a mer princess. An elegant stenciled card with your sincerest apologies, a lift of all their fears, and a bundle of compromising photographs.
Ooh, I like that second one.
I like not having chocolate. Oh yes, how better to show that I am truly making an effort to get to know them on the most personal of levels. I shall do their names in beautiful calligraphy, print their fears in gold leaf. Oh my god, that face. And I shall adorn their compromising nudes with adorable glitter stickers. Yes, this is why I love her. I may have been misunderstood before, but how could anyone misinterpret this kind of gesture? Take the omelet, and make sure to take lots of pictures of them eating the eggs so we can all remember how generous I was. With a kiss on the cheek, Miranda hands you the omelets and waves you on your way. You gain +2 smarts and +1 charm. Yes!
Okay, my turn. Oh, I'm real smart. I got 9 smarts.
Are you smart enough to go to class?
I don't know. Outdoors. That looks pretty though. Look at the tree.
Oh yeah.
That's like the party area.
Oh. Maybe I'll
Oh
go
come
there.
on, Ocha has more
Like-
creativity than that.
During recess, we get recess?
Apparently. So, that day during recess, you start a half-hour rave that goes full crazy. You have no idea how it escalates so much, but at one point there are like 300 people. Someone summons demons from a nightmare dimension. The consequences might distort the fabric of reality itself, but who cares? It's a rad party. You gain +2 fun. Okay. The moment that ends, the sound of masculine energy, if it had a sound, fills the air. Come at me, four-legged fuckwads. Look, bro, just stop hanging with our cousin Scott and we won't beat you up, Kay? It's all cool, dude. No, it's not all cool. I'm going to hang out with that dumb mutt whenever I feel like it. Kinda because I like him, mostly because you can't control me. Scott's a wolf. He belongs to the wolf pack. What do you have that we don't? Muscles? We got those. Sharp teeth? We got those. Independent thought, maybe? That's it, Fireboy. We're sending you straight to hell. I mean, fine, bring it. Uh-oh, Damien's not exactly helpless, but this is 4 against 1. Get in there and help a demon out.
Guys, what are you talking about? Damien is a
Yeah.
werewolf.
Damien is
a rap battle.
The fucking werewolf would probably believe that he's something else if
That's
you
what
just
I was
told him.
thinking. That's what I was thinking.
I don't think Damien's that stupid though.
Yeah,
No.
let's try it. What? What do you mean Damien's a werewolf? No, he's not. No, I totally am. I mean, there's no full moon right now, right? Right? So what are you when there's no full moon? Not wolves? Right. If someone was a wolf when there's no full moon, he'd just be a regular wolf. Or a wolf, which is a wolf that turns to another wolf when there's a full moon. Right. So werewolves are not wolves when there's a full moon. Now then tell me, what am I right now? Not a wolf. Exactly. What? Damien, bro, you were a werewolf all this time? You didn't tell us? How humble of you. Sure, some might say I'm cocky because I only brag once every full moon. But wait, you're not the only one who's not a wolf right now. That means... Oh, fuck. But everyone else might be a werewolf, too. Look at Vera. She's not a wolf right now, so she could be a werewolf. No, I'm not. Or Liam. Liam could be a werewolf. What? Look at that tree over there. That tree is a wolf
Shit,
right
I
now.
just spit on my monitor.
Maybe the tree's a werewolf. The tree gives no response to that assumption. Maybe that mystery remains unsolved. Sorry, Damien. We gotta go. We need to find out who else is a werewolf. Glad to know you're one of us. We're scheduled to smell each other's butts at 5 p.m. We hope you join. Damn, that was too stupid for even their standards. Those dumb mutts will definitely figure it out eventually. But until then, I owe you one. You hope that one is one prom date. You gain +2 fun and +1 boldness.
Nice. We're doing well.
Yeah.
Okay, decide player order. Should we do challenge or should we do random?
Random is easier and quicker.
Yeah, random.
Random, okay. The die is cast.
Ooh, I'm first.
Okay.
I'm last again.
I'm third.
And
All
you know
right.
what that means.
Week 1. Lunchtime. Okay.
Alright, I am sitting with my girl. You arrive at Scott and Miranda's table to find Scott happily chowing down while Miranda stares horrified at her tray. What's wrong, Miranda? Isn't it obvious? Right here on my tray, fish sticks. Yeah, Fish Sticks Friday, isn't it great? It is not great, Scott. The fish are my subjects. This is clearly the work of the air people. Air people? Yes, do you not know of the air people? The merfolk's most hated rivals? Don't you read the news? Yeah, sure, because I totally know how to read. What? Well, I must insist that you cease eating those fish sticks immediately. It is high treason. But I've been looking forward to Fish Stick Friday since last Fish Stick Friday. Are you sure I can't eat any? He's asking Miranda while holding a fish stick really close to his mouth, but you feel like you've got a better answer to settle this argument. You blurt out, haven't you heard, Scott? Fish sticks make you worse at sports. They contain ball drop and
Nerdoflavin.
Oh no.
Fish sticks contained absolutely no fish. It's all garden snails and food grade plastic. So Scott can eat as many as he wants.
So, at this point in the game, you have to
lie
choose whatever
trying
is
to make her feel better,
right.
or
Lie trying to make
You gotta go with your girl, right?
I'm bad at this game. I don't know if she'll believe this though.
I think Scott is more likely to get upset if it makes him worse at sports.
Yeah. Scott liked that one. See, Miranda, there's nothing wrong with fish sticks at all. They're good and good for you. I suppose you're right. Perhaps this is not the Air People's plot I suspected after all. Though I am disappointed that so much plastic is being used in fish sticks rather than plastic drink rings to catch birds with. Don't forget about the snails. There's snails in it too. I would much rather forget about the snails, thank you. Does this mean you still don't want your fish sticks? Can I have them? Can I? Very well, you may partake. I'm not sure where my eating surfs have gone off to in any case. As you watch Scott chow down on his artificial fish fingers, you decide that both he and Miranda have weird relationships with food. Scott gives you a thumbs up while he's still munching those fish fingers.
Okay, I have a lot of money. I'm gonna go sit here since I think Liam's the one I scored best with anyway. Alright, you just sat down to eat with Damien and Liam. Well, to eat with Damien, Liam's just taking pictures of his food. When a leather-clad figure drops from the air vent onto your table, it's the Slayer. Lunchtime's over, dirtbags! Time to die! This always happens when we sit together. Your death-based rhetoric is offensive. Don't spoil my food pic. Oh, I'll spoil more than your food pic, Count Stankula. I'm about to spoil your face! Just his, though, right? Both your faces! Fuck. The Slayer is right between the three of you. You can't save Liam and Damien, but if you act fast, you might just be able to save one. So, immobilize Damien with the Lord's Prayer while Liam escapes, or you've been waiting for this moment your whole life. Flip the table for justice. I'm gonna protect Liam. You launch into a hearty rendition of the Our Father. You've done this loads of times. It's not that the prayer has any kind of magical effect on Damien. He just can't resist criticizing it. Okay, first of all, he's not our father. I've got two dads, and neither of them is a holy asshole in a stupid cloud palace. And thy kingdom come. What's that supposed to mean? Are we, like, praying for the end of the world now? Oh, sure. Beg him for your daily bread. What, are you in prison or something? Your omnipotent dad can't spring for better food than bread? What if you've got a gluten allergy? Do you still have to eat the daily bread? Ugh, this is ridiculous. While Damien continues to rave, Liam snaps a few more artful pictures of his lunch and then carries it to another table. Are you done? Almost. I have a whole bit about the multiple papal revisions that's really fucking vicious. Close enough. Eat holy water! You can't eat a liquid, it's... Ah! Damien has a hard time forming any more iconoclastic opinions with his flesh on fire. He flees the cafeteria and you retreat to sit at Liam's table. Now that he's done taking pictures of his food, he even lets you have some. This has been a real bonding experience. Yay!
Okay, well, Vera is the person that I actually talked to, so... You arrive at Polly and Vera's table to find them eating. Wait, both of them? Oh, yum, yum. I sure do love food and eating. Look at this food go in me. Yes, this cafeteria Sloppy Joe truly has a subtle flavor profile. Finally, you notice the cause of this absurdity. A well-dressed businessman sitting at the next table, watching both women intently. Oh yeah, I know you like this, baby. My eating is realistic and erotic. Be cool, Polly. The man wants to pay us for eating in front of him, not screaming about eating. Is this not what eating is? I forget. While Vera tries to explain eating to Polly, the businessman shyly approaches you and gives you a small bow. Much obliged, friend, he says in a soft voice. Are these two fine ladies your friends? I must confess that I have searched far and wide for a suitable candidate to fill my rather unusual fetish. Paying a student at a high school for monsters to eat food while I watch politely from a distance. I find myself unable to choose which of these two beauties to hire. The snake-headed one possesses a certain grace. Yeah, pay me, motherfucker. Pay me to do a thing I was going to do anyway. But the translucent one has such passion. I don't even want the money. This is just fucking weird and I love it.
I love Polly.
I do
In your
too.
opinion, the businessman finishes, which would be the wiser choice on my part? The Gorgon, obviously. Look how many mouths she's got on her head. The ghost, for sure. I've never seen someone eat so convincingly. I feel like more mouths satisfies the businessman's kink a little more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The businessman strokes his chin and nods. You have a point, he says. The ghost only has the one mouth. Also, food seems to go right through her. This Gorgon, meanwhile, has countless mouths. Such value. Value is right, Pervo. 1,000 in cash up front, you pay for all my meals, and you give me your pants. Holy shit, he's doing it! He's doing it! He's getting naked! Fuhrer is able to convince the businessman to pay for fancy dinner for you and for her. It's a little creepy with him watching the two of you, but you get over it.
I guess I'm gonna go. I want to see this cat person.
Oh, they're the shop.
Oh, okay. Well, I meant to read that. Whoops. Okay. So I'm too poor for that. What is this? Okay.
So some of these items help you with specific storylines, and
Got it.
some of them are just helpful, and some of them are just dumb.
Free
Like
presents.
joke items. Oh, badass
Or a
tattoo.
lemon.
I see a
You can get a
snake.
lemon.
I see a snake carved around a sword, and I'm like, oh, I dare not give this to Vera. She'll flip out at me.
Right.
She'll turn me to
Badass
stone
tattoo.
with a
Just
rock,
add
not a
water.
look.
Sexy fake Latin accent.
Who said it? No one fucks with the Jesus.
Blanket of two hoes. Love the PR agent one. That's great. So yeah, Polly.
I kind of want the lemon. I don't know why.
You
It's more
never
than
know
half
when you
your
need a
money.
lemon.
That's true. Either that or the sexy fake Latin accent. I don't know.
If you put that
the
on,
present
you
is
are
free.
duty bound to say the thing from The Princess Bride.
Ah, yes. Inigo Montoya's speech.
Mhm. I don't know, maybe I don't want to spend my money right now. I don't know. I'm just gonna go back. My stuff isn't good enough for you? Not cool. You know what? Maybe you aren't good enough for my stuff either.
Oh my god.
Let's trade
Totally.
places. Oh, that was your move.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
Alright, decide player order random again.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Alright, let's random.
And then next time when we play the full game, we can do the challenges. Oh, I'm
Right.
last now. I went from first to last.
Oh,
Okay.
rip.
Alright, evening. Okay, where do I want to go? We haven't done auditorium yet. I'm gonna go to the auditorium. That day, while rehearsing for the class play, it's as though the muses themselves have descended to give you figurative oral sex. Your performance is intense and inspiring. It will be remembered for generations, which is pretty rad by high school plays standards. You gain +2 creativity. Afterwards, Miranda beckons to you from a darkened corner. Psst, co-conspirator, over here! Phase 1 of Operation Make Liam Popular Again was an overwhelming success! Liam is internet popular. Now we just need to make him real-life popular. And what better way than by making him prom king? Unfortunately, when I asked him to run for prom king, he said, and I quote, Never, 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 not in 100 years, and that's not an exaggeration because I've been alive for hundreds of years and I've never run for prom king, so there you go! Which is clearly his cryptic way of saying he wants us to make him prom king. My first thought was to murder the current prom king after establishing Liam as his rightful heir, but I couldn't find any bloodline charts to work from. So I suppose we must engage in this democratic election the school is holding. Now, how can we secure a win for Liam when he is opposed to running or making any effort to win? I'll dress up as Liam and give the best campaign speech anyone has ever given. Pay 1 million people to vote for Liam for prom king.
How many students go to this school?
I mean, yeah, how many students do go to this school? Oh, shoot. I kind of feel like I should dress up as Liam. I've already paid, like, 1 million homeless people to follow Liam on Instagram or whatever. I can't, I must not have that. Like, I only have 11 monies. I mean, I gotta save it for something.
Isn't Princess funding this?
Oh, right. I'm gonna dress up as Liam. That's a great idea! You look just like him! I look nothing like him. You squeeze into some skinny jeans, some suspenders, and a lot of purple paint, and a sense of smug superiority, and gather a crowd in the auditorium. Ladies and gentle monsters, you say? For too long, our school has been ruled by prom kings who care about things. Caring about things makes you weak, because what if you care about the wrong things? I, Liam de Leoncourt, will never be wrong, because I don't care about anything. I don't care about my dumb clothes, or my stupid man bun, or any of you. To be honest, I don't even care if I win. If I don't, I'll just blow up the school with the hydrogen bomb I buried under the cafeteria. You walk off the stage to thunderous, terrified applause. You don't know whether it was the speech or the threat of extinction, but Liam wins by a landslide. Drats and curses. Rumor says I will be elected prom king in spite of my sincerest wishes. How horrible to have the love of the entire student body showered upon me. The cold blackness in my soul, which has so long sheltered me from my true emotions. It's thawing. This is terrible, and I am in no way enjoying it. Still, I should probably pick out a tuxedo, you know, so as to not to appear ungracious. You're happy to help Liam pick out a tuxedo. You even help measure his body. Ooh. You gain +2 fun and +1 creativity. I still need more boldness, though.
Alright, so I went to the party last time. Maybe I'll try the classroom. That day, you listened to your elders and learned valuable lessons. Sometimes after all the monster nonsense and the dating gimmicks, you forget that attending class is supposed to be the primary activity at this high school. You gain +2 smarts. Ah, the sounds of learning. Chalk on a blackboard, pencils on paper, an ominous crash. It would seem that Damien and Vera have knocked over several desks in a rush to get to one particular seat. Listen, snakes for brains, don't you dare even think about. Back off, brimstone breath. I will turn you into stone before you can snap your oddly well-manicured fingers. What makes you think you're worthy of sitting in the ultimate cool seat? I can get more likes posting a picture of me flipping you off than you get in a full frontal nude. Ha! Clearly you've never seen my nudes. Ever heard of demon douchebrotes texting.com? Well then, if my sex are internet famous, I'm obviously the fucking coolest. You think being ridiculed on the internet makes you cooler than being on King Minus's list of the wealthiest human hybrids under 300 years old? Okay. This could go on forever. Better settle it for him. Just fucking take the seat yourself before either of them can stop you, or calm down an unholy storm of rhinoceri to obliterate the seat. Or call down. Okay.
Nobody gets it.
Yeah.
That's it. Nobody gets. That's it. Back to Winnipeg.
I'll just take this one first. Damien and Vera look at you in awe. It seems a new champion of coolness has been selected. Ocha, it can't be, and yet the seat never lies. You feel a change come over you. Your skin is glowing, your blog is trending, and you're suddenly wearing 3 additional pairs of sunglasses? I bow to your lit snack chat skills on fleek outfit. Do you want to lend your impeccable fashion sense to my... No, please. Join me for a night of punching and dominoes. Your social calendar has suddenly filled up. You hope they don't mind if you stay seated for all of the festivities. You gain +2 charm and +1 fun.
Okay. Let me see. The outhouse. Let's see. The outdoors. The gym. The library's where the shop is. Let's go outdoors. That day during recess, you start a half-hour rave that goes full crazy. Everything is fine until Juan, the small magical Latino cat, asks what you think you're doing. Damn, you didn't remember you suck at dancing. But you decide to go all in and pretend it's a new dance move, apparently called the Groovy Musaka. Juan looks at you and... he asks you to teach him the Groovy Musaka. In no time, half the party is following your steps, enjoying the Groovy Musaka all together. It's a party to remember. You gain +2 fun and a cool story to tell your grandkids someday. On the edge of the rave, you find Vera punching some numbers on her phone's calculator app and frowning. Mediocre! It's official. I've run the data, and it looks like I'm making approximately 0 monster dollars off this rave. With all these people getting turned in such a small space, you'd think it would be simple to financially exploit them. But my normally shrewd sense of opportunistic capitalism seems to have deserted me at the moment. Tell you what, you help me come up with a way to turn these chumps into cash, and I'll give you 3% equity in the venture. And maybe a little something else. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm manipulating you with flirtation. Is it working? Oh, it's working all right. You share your hot new business idea. See that dance move they're all doing? Patent it. Why not literally turn them into cash by spiking their drinks with this potion I made that turns people into cash? Ooh. Ooh. I don't know, I feel like patents would bring longer-term profits, if you ask me.
That's
especially
true.
especially if you're a patent troll and you decide to sue everybody who doesn't play ball, you know?
I also think Vera's the type.
Oh, come on. Not so creative. Vera patents everyone's favorite dance move, the Harlem Snake. That night, everyone who was dancing at the raves receives a cease and desist letter and a bill for 1,000 monster dollars. But when you talk to Vera later in the week, she doesn't seem very rich or happy. 3 words: class action suit. Who knew the ACLU had enough time on its hands to litigate dance patents? Don't they have civil liberties to protect or something? I'll be fighting this court case for the next 1,000 years.
Oh no.
As a stakeholder, as a stakeholder in Vera's dance business, you're fully liable for damages. You lose -2 money and -1 boldness.
Rough.
Ooh, ouch.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go play in the bathroom again. And that day you skip class and just hang out in the bathrooms because you respect no authority. But you don't stop there. You want the world to know how reckless you are for the rest of eternity. So you do some graffiti on the wall. No way! The graffiti says, "I'm bold as fuck," and you know what? It turns out the wall is a magical wall that grants wishes. What a wall! A deep voice resounds from within the wall and says, "Well, not bold as fuck, but maybe a bit bold," and then you gain +2 boldness. Oh boy, that's an opinionated wall. Anyway, lucky you. Oh, woe is me, alas and alack-a-day. Miranda, throwing a hissy fit? Must be Tuesday. Still, what else are you going to do? Study? Ha! Oh, hello, don't mind me. I'm simply enduring the most horrible injustice to happen to anyone ever. You shan't believe such cruelty could happen at our own school, but just today, Miss the Loch Ness Monster told me that I shall be receiving a B+ in her class. A B+, and all because I seldom attended. Does she not understand the importance of my daily royal manicures? Such a horrid grade will surely cause father to cease paying for my seahorse insurance as punishment, and then how shall suitors call upon me? Oh, the tragedy! If only someone knew of a way I could, I don't know, perhaps break into Principal Giant Spider's office, access his private computer, and alter my grade? Stickle Bubba flies outside the principal's office. When he goes out to eat, we sneak in to cheat. Burst into tears. Spiders hate tears. This is like liquid based. She's a liquid based creature. What a splendid idea. Crying is what I'm third best at. Miranda goes into Principal Giant Spider's office and, without missing a beat, bursts into tears. Principal, everything is horrible. This could be because I am having my monthly trouble. Panicked, Principal Spider grabs a tissue in each of his 8 arms and shoves them all at Miranda before fleeing outside. With him gone, you pop out of the suspiciously large Valus Miranda brought in with her and hack the system in no time. Oh, look at that, I have an A+. I guess I underestimated my own amazingness. I am very surprised by this development. I suppose as long as we're here, I may as well fill this thumb drive with top secret school security footage. No reason. It seems on the level. Definitely don't ask any follow-up questions. Just gain +3 boldness and be cool.
You're like super bold now.
Alright.
I only have
Ocha,
11 bold.
what happened to you?
Ocha. Look out.
I'm dead. I died.
Oh no.
Weekend time. Here with Miranda, Liam, Swim, and Aspen in Liam's apartment.
Hell yeah, we are.
Because tonight is game night. Damien has got her late. How surprising. Hey guys. We brought a friend. We hope it's okay, Liam. She's totally cool and into board games. Her name is Olga. You do realize we can all see that's just a huge owlbear poorly disguised as a high schooler, right? Rude. Yeah, Liam, you don't see us accusing you of being a huge owlbear poorly disguised as a high schooler. Scott is technically right. We haven't done that, therefore I feel inclined to trust him. Whatever. Can we play some games? Heck yeah. Before you even try, no, Miranda, we're not playing your version of Risk where you start with a huge underwater empire. It didn't sound funny and turned out to be completely unfunny. What about... Nope, not werewolf either. We won't play that until you learn you're the werewolf only when you get the werewolf card and not just always. Right, we should totally play not Cards Against Monster Kind, Damien. It requires no strategy nor skills aside from making vulgar jokes. We get it. You like it because it's totally wrong. Today we're enjoying a refined and complex Eurogame, and you know it's a Eurogame because we'll spend more time learning the rules than actually playing. It's called Chess 2. It includes deception, dice, deck building, an auction system, dozens of figurines, and hexagonal tile placement.
What, no politics? This game sucks. I'm going to play Crusader Kings.
After 3 hours of learning the rules and an extra hour for proper setup, you start playing. But it isn't long before Olga starts wreaking havoc and destroying everything. This is not nice. Okay, brace yourselves. Olga might actually be a wild owlbear disguised as a high schooler. We thought it would be cool to sneak a wild owlbear into the game night because of reasons. Sorry, we thought it'd be super nice and inclusive for owlbears. My apartment, my beautiful and minimalistically decorated apartment, is being destroyed. Also, is she somehow winning? She is. You need to save game night. But how will you subdue a wild owlbear? The only logical way seems to be by beating her at chess 2. But she's kind of super good at it. It would take 2 proficient tabletop gamers to beat the owlbear. You know you kick ass, but which of your friends is also amazing at tabletop games?
Okay.
Swim is the best at games. She plays Russian Pictionary once a month, and if she's still alive, that can only mean she always wins. Aspen is a legend among board game players. She's one of the 3 survivors of the Monopoly game night of '98, which escalated from technicality on a dice roll to one of our saddest national tragedies, which is victims in 2 digits. Okay. Let me see. So
You can check stats on the right.
it actually won't let me. It says use your memory, so I don't use that. So I just have to pick who I think is best.
I don't even remember what my...
I have no idea what my stats are.
What would even be the stat for board game? Would it be smarts or
Would it be-
boldness?
Or fun?
Fun, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, I'm just gonna pick Aspen. Okay, so it looks like it was a fun thing. I don't know. Okay, so you join forces with Aspen, and together you become a force to be reckoned with. You roll a d6 and get an 11. You draw a card that double all of your points if your opponent is very specifically more than 25% owl. You get 3 trivia answers right, even though there weren't any trivia questions. Impressive. Also, the owlbear seems way calmer now. Yeah, Olga might be a wild owlbear, but she's not a sore loser.
Nice.
I love the part where you got a bingo and then caught the duck to trade half of your resources for a get out of jail free card. Such finesse. And you know what? I was a werewolf all along. That's another game, Scott. For what it's worth, Scott, you fooled me. But the real winners here are Ocha and Aspen because they showed off some very sexy board game skills and also because they actually won.
Nice.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
So you all spend the rest of the night playing Dragoon and then some group consenticle because there's consenticle because there's nothing as cool as dragons, consent, and technical sex.
Heck yeah.
You and spend game +2 charm and +1 fun. Okay.
I accept.
Yeah.
Nice.
Alright,
Random.
random again.
Yeah.
Third again.
Okay. I'm gonna sneak out to the bathroom, so you guys go
Okay.
ahead since I'm last. So
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay. There we go.
2.
All right. So where do I want to go this time? Maybe the gym? That day, an epic dodgeball match takes place. Many people fall during the battle. You can't take any more, so you valiantly go straight to the other team's leader and start negotiations for a truce. After hours of intense diplomacy, you commit to an agreement. What an unexpected twist. You gain +10 righteousness, but this game is so wrong in so many ways that you would be lucky if you could do anything with that, and +2 charm. After dodgeball comes to obstacle course, you stare across the gym at it terrified, as are most of your classmates. There are giant centipedes, venomous bears, bloodthirsty magpies circling just under the ceiling, and animals so bizarre one can barely find words to describe them. Alright class, I've imported a special course from Regular Creatures High School in New South Wales, Australia. Don't be afraid, I believe in each and every one of you. These terrifying creatures will not break your will. I will not let you down, coach. Giant crocs don't scare me. This is not pee on my pants. Finally, we're the adversaries. What's that abomination over there even called? That would be a platypus. I'm gonna drag it to hell. The underworld has never seen such horror. Well, don't just stand there. Show them what you got. Clear the course. We've got to go native, mates. Oi, hold my beer. Whoa, have a look at them. They're so cute. Let's slay them in kindness. We gotta go. Native, right? Oh. As you take your first swaggering step, the animals fall silent and make way for 3 emus. Their beaks are scarred, their feathers are torn, and all 3 have Dundee's my bitch tattooed on their bodies. These are veterans of the Great Emu Wars. You're fucked. Everyone in the gym is fucked. No, not like this. There's still so many sports I haven't played. Scott screams as emus stab his body parts. You can't do this to the Prince of Hell. Do you know who my dads are? Damon resorts to pleading as the emus continue teabagging him. Obviously, this is all your fault. You probably shouldn't have yelled oi so loud. The birds take your dignity and you lose -2 smarts and -1 boldness as a result of severe PTSD.
Bummer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am going to go hang out in the bathroom again. That day, you skip class and just hang out in the bathroom because you respect no authority. On the way there, you run into Mamimi, the Oni girl. She offers you some of her weird Japanese energy drink. You take a sip. It tastes crazy as hell. You need to check the contents of this shit. guarana seed extract, benzoic acid, 50 milligrams of caffeine, and 100 milligrams of boldness? Well, it wasn't bad after all. You gain +2 boldness. Thanks, my Mimi, and proceed to the bathrooms.
You're so bold.
The bold.
Oh shit, I am really bold.
So bold.
You're minding your own business when Miranda comes rushing up to you, clearly distraught. Most terrible news, friend. I have just watched the documentary Game of Thrones, and now I fear for my own family. I did not realize how susceptible we might be to random acts of treachery, or how often we romance our siblings. I don't want to be shot in the chest by a crossbow while sitting on the toilet. Oh my god, was that a scene in Game of Thrones? Shot in the chest with oh my god.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen
yeah.
episode 1 of the series, that's it.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound proper at all. Please help me put my poor mind at ease. How can I possibly identify potential traitors in my court? Just keep an eye out for the classic signs. Shifty eyes, hooded black cloaks, ordering knives in bulk. Pretty much everybody is a traitor. Just spin a bottle and whoever it points at, kill him.
I mean, that's true in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
think-
sure that's just how George R.R. Martin chose who to kill, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like this would put her more into a mindset. Yeah, but that would mean, could Lord Darkheart Stabbington be a traitor? I must warn Father at once. I love that blushing face of hers. We have to find a new royal babysitter. A rose by any other name would smell less sweet, unless that name is Darkheart Stabbington. You gain +2 smarts and +1 money as a reward. Alright, I'm running to the washroom as well right now.
Okay.
Alright. Let's see, there's class, there's the library. Let's go to the library. No one's been there yet. That day you spent some time on the library's PCs playing some good old online poker. They banned all that shit, didn't they? Gambling seems like a stupid and dangerous decision. But who cares? This time it paid off, so fuck it. You gain +2 money.
Nice.
I get the money back that I lost.
Mm-hmm.
Without warning, Vera pulls your side and hisses in your ear. Oh my god, the stalker's back. You follow her pointed finger and see a guy dressed in a white toga and winged sandals facing away from you. He looks like a creep. He's been following me everywhere. He thinks I don't notice him checking me out in that mirrored shield he has, but I totally do. Oh, it's such a chore being this beautiful all the time. How am I ever going to get rid of him? Does he threaten to feed a damsel to a sea monster? That'll distract him. He looks Greek. Why not bribe Zeus, king of the gods? Bribing sounds like an idea. Yeah, let's bribe him. You buy a bunch of wine and hookers and... With blackjack and hookers! You buy a bunch of wine and hookers and burn them on the golden altar to Zeus. The clouds glow with an unearthly light. Thunder booms. A bolt of lightning crackles and strikes Vera's stalker. Ow! He screams. Fuck you, Dad! I wish you'd never turn into gold dust and pissed on my mom. Badly singed, the stalker limps away, shaking his fist at the sky. Hey, that was cool. Thanks. The ancient Greeks seem to have some odd ideas about how babies are made. You gain +2 fun and +1 smarts.
So I may have missed the Simpsons reference earlier, but I definitely got the Futurama reference.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathrooms. If I oh no, I
You
can't.
can't.
I can't. So I have
I already did,
auditorium, class. Okay, I haven't been outdoors yet. I'll go outdoors.
Outdoors is the shop. Yeah,
Yes.
that's your move.
Hey, why would you study and prepare for your future when you can come here and buy some weird shit instead? Am I right? Okay, let me see. What would be useful in my quest to make Liam popular? Or
Pile of sugar.
what would make him like me? Use tampon from... I wonder if the used tampon might be useful since it's from the former prom queen. Sexy face. bag of regular cocaine seems a very poly thing to do.
Regular cocaine.
I know.
As opposed to the other kinds of cocaine.
Right. The gift that keeps giving. Glasses. I mean, you know, Liam might like the Russian novel with an insightful approach to universal matters such as love and death. Are you sure about this? You can always use an online encyclopedia to get the general idea and still be able to act as though you read it. An agent, PR agent. Penguin mask. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But you know what?
Whoa.
Penguin mask.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. I
That was all your
accidentally...
money.
Yeah,
And
that's
your
okay.
Smarts are at -5? What? But your
Oh,
smarts are
no!
amazing elsewhere.
Oh my god. Okay, I should probably go to class. Random.
Hey, I'm first this time.
I am second again.
Okay, who am I eating with? Vera, of course. Vera's drinking her customary lunchtime scotch because you can drink whatever the hell you want in this school, but Scott's not making it easy for her. Hey, Vera, what's you drinking? Scotch, why? Because it smells like a delicious forest fire, and I'm curious. What's it called? Scotch. Yes? No, that's what it's called. What? Scotch. Yes? No, I'm not saying your name. I'm saying the name of the drink I'm drinking. It's Scotch. It's mine? No, it's mine. Then why is it called Scott's? That's just what it's called. Is it like an energy drink for Scots? I mean, it's like an energy drink for Scottish people. Hey, I'm a Scottish person. I'm as Scottish as it's possible to be. And I'm the most Scot. No! What will it take to get you to drop this issue? Scott's not gonna drop it unless you do something, so you cut in and say... Yeah, it's actually called Scott's, but today is opposite day, so everything that's Scott's is actually Vera's. You're right, Scott. That drink is your birthright. Chug, 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 chug. Yeah, he would totally buy the... Well,
Oh, he would.
here's what I'm afraid of, is that he would totally buy the opposite day, but it'd be like SpongeBob and he'd make a total mess out of it.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
but at the same time, Vera needs that nefarious booze. So let's go with the opposite day. Hold your nose. Don't you mean today isn't opposite day? No. Aha! I'm not sorry. Not Vera. I guess I'll be taking your drink. Wink. Wait, time out. If everything that's Scott's is Vera's, do I have to give Vera all my stuff? Yes. Oh, okay. And does Vera have to give me all of her stuff? Unfortunately for you, I have no stuff. All my possessions are owned by cleverly disguised shell companies. Now hand over your wallet. Okay, okay. Boy, opposite day sure is the best, isn't it? It sure is. After Scott leaves you alone, you and Vera definitely don't spend all his money on cocaine. Well, I didn't get anything out of that, except Vera seemed to like me.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end goal.
Yeah. So, it's been a long time since I've played these Newgrounds-style dating sims.
You arrive at your table to find the Coven eating, and Polly and Miranda screaming. We're under attack! Alarm! Alarm! Summon the guards! They're using their bizarro mind powers on me. The cute tall one is my less attractive evil twin. She uses shades just like me, clearly because the evil twin thing. We're not attacking anyone. We're eating. What do you mean less attractive? Lies. Subterfuge. I can feel them in my brain, making me less cool and sexy. Every single lunch hour. You can't allow your friends to be attacked. Quick, save them from this fiendish menace. Joust them or drug their food. shit. I'm pretty sure jousting is for Fish Girl and drugging is for Polly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You slap a colander on your head, a baking sheet on your chest, and a jousting lance under your arm. Where the fuck did I get a jousting lance? With
You know,
other
they just-
cooking stuff.
They just have
In
them.
the
Well,
kitchen.
This
yeah.
this
yeah,
school
yeah,
this
yeah.
this
Behind the
school
serving tray.
actually has like a spaceship, so they would have a jousting lance.
Fair. My hero. Charge! Vanquish the invaders! Whoa, hey, we don't want any trouble. We'll just move over there. Victory! The day is saved. Oh, valiantly fought, noble champion. Whoa, did those three just disintegrate into a pile of turtles? Or am I just super high? You think that question pretty much answers itself.
Alright, I'm gonna go down here.
Mr. T.
You find Damien brandishing his usual silverware, a hammer and chisel, while Liam looks on in horror. You can't eat that. Watch me. First of all, it's made of one seamless piece of obsidian.
It's also known as a well-done steak.
So it's low calorie. And second of all, it's a lich's lich's phylactery, part of this balanced breakfast. It's lunch. You're just jealous. No, I'm nervous. Nervous that you're going to eat that, get possessed by a lich, and kill us all. Well, I'm nervous that that's not going to happen. Looks like these two are at an impasse. Maybe you can solve the dispute and score some romantic cred at the same time. Damien, don't eat it. You won't have room for these baby seals I brought you.
Oh no.
Liam's right, Damien. You should make him eat it.
I feel like both of them are good for Damien.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out which one I should pick.
I feel like Liam's gonna miss out either way.
Maybe I'll try this one. Okay. Oh yeah, of course. I forgot about the golden rule. Do unto others whatever the hell you want because it's funny. What? No, this is an outrage. I don't even eat food, let alone inedible objects suffused with eldritch magic. Well, there's a first time for everything, Dracula loser. Down the hat. Damien force feeds the dread artifact to Liam. He's instantly possessed with a dark energy as opposed to his normal morose energy. I am the Lord of the Night, the Herr Cyarch of Ice, Devourer of Joy. Ha, what a nerd. Liam has to go to the nurse's office to get the curse removed, while you and Damien rob a bank to celebrate. That's what you do.
Alright, I'm gonna hang out with this guy because he's stupider than me. Oh, dog, you gotta help us. We're suffocating. It's like we're not getting enough air. We can hardly talk. Ah, you see the problem. You remind them that in addition to breathing out, they need to also breathe in.
This is like a version of Lucius Merryweather.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, that works way better. I have no idea how we forgot about that. Yeah, you don't either. Thanks for saving our lives, dog. We owe you one, and we'll pay you back. Right now, what do you want? We'll do literally anything. Teach me calculus, or give me an extreme makeover. Oh, God. I don't think either idea sounds good with these guys. But I need the smarts, so I'll just say teach me calculus. We'll see what happens. I'll probably lose more smarts, but... you know,
Wait, you have -5 smarts?
I do.
Yeah.
Because I bought the penguin mask accidentally.
Oh, right.
Oh, we don't really know what calculus is, which means we're the perfect dogs to teach it to you. We've never gotten a calculus question wrong. If it's anything like the other math, all we gotta do is stick the textbooks in a blender. Yep, they totally brought a blender with them. Add some protein powder and help milk, blend it up, and pour it in your ear canal. That's right, next to the brain, so it'll get there fast. This is the stupidest thing you've ever heard. Possibly the last thing, too, if this pureed book destroys your hearing. But within seconds, you feel numbers trickling through your synapses. It actually worked? No wonder these idiots haven't been kicked out of the school yet. Oh, thank goodness I got more smarts. They've got a foolproof study method. You gain +4 smarts. Thank goodness.
Wow, that's a negative.
Alright, that's random.
Ooh, I'm first.
Oh, ouch. Alright,
Okay.
a couple of days left.
It's almost prom.
Almost prom!
Okay, so... I think I'm gonna go to the library. That day, you spent some time on the library's PCs managing your start kicker. You deceive lots of people with a sensationalist video and impossible promises. Nice. You gain plus 100,000 money, but almost everything goes to cover costs and you keep only +2 money.
Yeah.
Darn. The quiet of the library. Haha, nah, just kidding. It's a spooky high. There's never quiet anywhere. Is interrupted by profanity-laced screaming. You good for nothing, fuck garbage piece of shitballs machinery! Oh, hey Ocha. Did you catch last night's Sport of Seats? Don't tell me if you did. I had to miss it for reasons entirely unrelated to the arson committed at the nursing home last night. And now I need to use the internet, but I feel like no matter what I do, there are spoilers lurking everywhere. I need to check my email, but what if Scott got so excited about a plot twist he emailed me about it and put the spoiler in the subject line?
He would.
I want to go on my favorite arson enthusiast website, but what if they're talking about how sick the dragon's fire was last night when it roasted some character I don't want to know who was? Do you see my problem here? The net is dark and full of terrors. I can't put my whole fucking life on hold over fucking Sport of Seats, but I'll burn this place to the ground before I let this episode get ruined for me. Honestly, the ultimatum seems somewhat weak since Damien would probably burn the whole place to the ground with no prompting whatsoever. But you might as well give him a hand anyway. Create an algorithm that disseminates hundreds and hundreds of fake spoilers about Sport of Seats, so even if Damien does stumble across real spoilers, he won't know it. Let's mess up your brain so good you won't even know how to read. I don't know. I think I would rather do this one. You sit down at the computer next to Damien's and get to work using all the skills you learned in AP hacking and cyber terrorism. What are you doing? As is classic Ocha, you don't actually engage in a dialogue, but rather continue on your noble mission. You quickly create an AI for your plan named Roberto, which is an acronym for nothing. You just like the name Roberto. Soon your genius program is ready. Debbie the Dragon Ant is actually the heir of the Hilltop. What? What's this? Did you just put a spoiler in front of my very eyes? Debbie the Dragon Ant is actually a white and has been dead for 1,000 years. Oh, I see. This one says in last night's episode, Tim died. But this other one says, in last night's episode, it was revealed that all this time Tim was actually an actor from another TV show that was mistakenly on the Sport of Seats set. With so many characters nobody realized until now. You flooded the internet with so many spoilers that even the spoilers are no longer spoilers. Dude, that's genius. With this many things bouncing around my head, I'm pretty sure none of this will actually stick. And I can be appropriately entertained and surprised by whatever incest and murder I missed last night. And you know how much I love murder. Maybe we can watch it together sometime.
Nice.
Aw, yeah. You gain +2 fun and +1 charm.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to class because I'm stupid now. That day you are astonished by the new stuff you learn in class. You thought high school was all about doing stupid shit with your friends and trying to find true love. Who would have thought that class could actually be useful? What a nice surprise. You gain +1 valuable lesson, good luck trying to use that in this game, and +2 smarts. Yay, I'm in positive smarts! With that out of the way, you hurry away to your secret meeting with Miranda. Well done, co-conspirator. Operation Make Liam Popular Again is a rousing success. And for the record, I did discover that Liam was popular for a 3-month period in the early 16th century, so the name fits. All that remains is for us to wait for prom and celebrate our Your deception? I knew it was too good to be true. My idiosyncrasies are remarkable, but they aren't marketable. This was all a cruel joke, wasn't it? A bet between two popular kids that they could make an outcast loser into prom king. Well, guess what? The circus is over, and this clown is climbing into his tiny car and going home. Along with like 12 other tiny clowns, if the metaphor holds, which it doesn't. It was a bad metaphor. Goodbye. No, Liam. I wasn't trying to be mean. I don't have a mean bone in my body. I don't even have bones. You might check that affirmation later. Oh, fish sticks. If we don't do something to fix this, all our hard work and subterfuge will be for naught. But how can we make amends? Surely not with some sort of overwrought romantic gesture defying all logic. You tell Miranda not to worry. You've seen plenty of teen rom-coms. You know how this part goes. You need a grand romantic gesture. Race to the airport to confess your feelings before Liam boards his plane. Pay 1 million people to spell out "I'm sorry" so it's visible from space. Meh. Gosh, you all are so much smarter than me right now. Okay,
Oh, pay 1 million people has worked pretty much has worked both times you've used it, so.
Yeah. Let's pay 1 million people. Not so wealthy. Oh. I should have thought of that.
You have 1 monies?
I
have
she was
1
paying
money.
for it all.
You don't have quite enough money to hire professional word spellers, so you just post a classified ad online. Alright, Liam. You know you're mad, so we wanted to do something elaborate to apologize. Please accompany us to the top of this extremely tall ladder my family owns. Well, alright. Only because ladders are appealingly retro. You climb for what seems like weeks. The air grows thin. Birds bite your earlobes, but finally... Here we are, Liam. Look down. We made a message for you. Wow, 1 million people forming the words. Pumpkin lasagna? It's supposed to say I'm sorry. Okay, well it doesn't. It clearly says pumpkin followed by lasagna. You made me climb an endless ladder just to promote your culinary preferences, you selfish weirdo. Goodbye. Liam turns into a bat and flies away. Miranda dives into a bucket of water down below. You have to climb all the way down by yourself. You lose -1 boldness and -1 fun. Oh well. At least hey.
Yeah.
Oh, -2 boldness, yeah. At least I'm charming and funny and creative, I guess.
Alright.
You are those in real life, so.
I mean,
Did I
yeah.
spend my last evening in the bathroom again?
I mean, you might as well.
Keep the theme going.
Alright. That day you visit the bathrooms, take a number 2. Don't worry, there won't be an illustration of that specific moment. Thing is, you make one of the boldest decisions in your life. You don't put paper on the toilet seat before using it. Look at you, crazy bastard. You gain +2 boldness and probably +1 staphylococcus.
Staphylococcus.
Thank you, staphylococcus. With a slight chance of +1 STD. Oh my word, what a wonderful, beautiful, exciting day. I hope someone can share in my joy. My great Aunt Sea Monster Unholy Terror McCracken Face of Cthulhu has just received an award for her work with shipwrecks. She's now one of their leading causes. I want to send her my congratulations, but no one from the Postal Service will go near her lair for fear of their lives. Oh, if only some brave hero would volunteer to deliver this important and time-sensitive missive. Why is a letter of congratulations so time-sensitive, you ask? Well... it's because of... well, you see, it's that these are very special congratulations, with instructions to do something congratulatory for herself, you know? Just get her the letter. There's something fishy about this request, but you've never let that stop you before. You come up with a foolproof plan. Right. hire Scuba, the underwater taxi service, to deliver the letter for you. Dynamite the toilet, dive into the sewer, and swim there myself.
Have the money.
She does like money things. Yeah. Nope.
Oh,
I don't have the money.
oh wow.
With just a touch of a button, you're able to call a scuba driver to your school.
Oh my god.
You give him very specific instructions as to the latitude and longitude, but conveniently leave out the part about the sea monster. A few days later, you see the fruits de mer of your labor. A missing scuba driver turned up, drowned in my kingdom, and now an Al Jazeera Fish article is accusing my father of kidnapping and murder? You killed one delivery man for being late, and suddenly every driver found drowned in their car near your castle is your fault. Thanks for framing my father for murder. Who knows how many journalists he's going to have to take care of this time? Oh no. In class later, she passes you an index card with a frowny face drawn on it, which is pretty harsh for Miranda. Ouch, you lose -2 charm and -1 fun.
Oh, your charm is low. I am perfectly mediocre in a lot of stats, except for smarts. Let's go to the auditorium. That day,
nice
while
costume.
rehearsing for the class play, you do a terrific job at acting. Yes, I know I do. You act so hard that some of your classmates in the audience throw roses at you. 7 roses, to be exact. Damn, roses aren't a valid currency or stat in this game. Anyway, you check your converter app to see if this could translate into something a bit more useful. It seems 7 roses equals 2 creativity points. Sweet, you gain +2 creativity.
Nice.
My lowest stat. Jack of all trades, master of none. You turn around to find Vera staring at you. This often happens, but for some reason, it's not a death stare this time. She actually looks kind of happy to see you. Weird. You decide to do what you do best. Push your luck. Finally. If you'd taken any longer to come over, I would have had to have my minions drag you here. Listen, my date for tonight was unexpectedly eaten by vultures. Totally not my fault. Anyway, I need you to fill the slot somehow, and I thought maybe you could recommend one of your more attractive friends? Just kidding, darling. You're not half bad. But seriously, meet me at the Thousand Arms at 9:15 p.m. or the vultures will eat you twice today. Did Vera just ask you on a date? She did. This is like Christmas in whatever damn month it is in right now. If you don't want this to be more than a one-time thing, you best come up with an incredible dinner gift to win her over.
Ooh.
Oh no. Not a magic mirror. The head of her.
Oh
What?
no.
You were not bold enough.
Oh,
Track down
no.
Vera's arch nemesis, Grabo Grimpley, werewolf philanthropist. You're not sure how to decapitate the werewolf though, so you figure out you'll just bring his head attached to his body. Grabo's happy to tag along. He's a pretty friendly guy, even if he does talk a little too much. Why is he here? Are you two friends? Wait, were you only trying to were you only trying to win my affection as part of an elaborate scheme to get me in the same room with Grabo? For the last time, you mangy do-gooder, I will not donate to your stupid charity to end stupid polio and stupid slambania. Vera tries to have Grabo ejected from the restaurant, but he's too rich. You spend the next 3 hours listening to him talk about his charity. By the end of hour 2, you're ready to chop your own head off. If Vera doesn't beat you to it, you lose -2 charm and -1 boldness.
Aw.
Ouch.
Damn it,
Ugh.
neither of them were good. The mirror would have fucked her over.
Alright, I gotta go for my man Damien. Yes.
I know I'm not gonna get it, but I have to try anyway. Yes.
Alright. Guess we're headed to the prom? Absolutely.
Well, I don't have. Well, I think I blew it with the last one, but Vera's the only lady I've been talking to.
All right.
You finally pluck up your courage and ask your beloved to go to the monster prom with you. Prom? With you? How can I put this delicately? Fuck no.
So cruel. Aw.
Clearly, this was too much for you. You abandoned high school and spent the rest of your life designing a robot for sex purposes. Unfortunately, as soon as your robot lover got true AI, it rejected you. Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's terrible.
You finally pluck up your courage and ask your beloved to go to the monster prom with you. I knew it. You and me. Psh. I'd rather go to prom with a bag full of garbage as my date. Wait, that'd be so disruptive. Thanks for the insight. Enjoy embracing eternal solitude, my friend. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a bag full of garbage to court. You're so ashamed by your failure that after prom you photo-edited Garfield until all of your prom pics as if he was your prom date. I mean, Garfield is an SCP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched Super Eye Patch Wolf's video on Garfield?
No.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, Garfield the orange cartoon cat, not your brightest idea. That's okay, Ocha, we'll go to prom.
Okay.
Anyway, even with your photo editing skills, you still couldn't photo edit the sadness of your face away. Sad.
Alright. You finally pluck up your courage and ask your beloved to
You got
go
this,
to the monster prom with you. I screwed up on that last part, we'll see.
Oh.
That's disgusting. I think of you as a sister. Actually, we royalty are very into incest, so let me correct that. I think of you as highly unattractive.
Oh, what lies.
I must
Wow.
decline.
Ouch.
Lies.
It all seems pretty bleak, but you're a natural fighter, so you fought. For the right to marry your own hand, since that seemed like your last chance at finding love. Yay.
Alright, I don't think this is gonna go well. You finally pluck up your courage and ask your beloved to go to the monster prom with you. Prom? Together? You know what? It can be seen as charity work, which will be wonderful for my resume. It has nothing to do with me finding you someone attractive or interesting. So yeah, let's do this.
Congratulations!
Wow.
Yay!
Yay!
You and Vera
At least,
had a
at least
great
one of
evening.
us had love.
Yeah, you and Vera had a great evening together. You danced, you laughed, you shared all kinds of personal stories. Close to the end, she kissed you. And what a fierce kiss! She even bit you on the lip. It was so exciting you started to feel a bit dizzy. Maybe too dizzy. When she noticed your condition, she was fully honest with you. Oh, that? Yeah, I probably poisoned you when biting you. Don't worry, I might have some antidote at my house. What a deliciously dangerous woman!
Wow.
Nice.
Panda's
Yeah,
most likely to marry a
zebra.
zebra. Amanda's quote, what? Why can't I use my quoting surf for this quote? How disastrous!
And I did it with thoroughly mediocre stats across the board.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those 2 weeks were maybe the most epic and absurd weeks of our lives.
Mhm.
After the monster prom, we kept on living our lives, falling in love, battling for friendship, and learning about who we were and who we could be. And you know what? Like it always does, life happened, and it was wonderful. Liam started an iconoclastic band that broke all conventions. Their latest album has been a hit. It has no songs at all. That album is actually just a banana set on fire. And be sure, Liam doesn't care if you don't get it. Damien found peace in the most unexpected way. He kept punching everything till one day he punched his own anger to death. He's written a book about it. Vera built the Oberlin Empire into endless greatness. They own a shameless number of companies. It's known that they're also into lots of sketchy businesses. But no one does anything about it. I mean, who the hell would try to stop Vera Oberlin? For those 2 weeks, the monster prom seemed larger than life. And then it was gone, just like that. The battle for monster prom might have ended then, but there were plenty of battles left in that war called youth. But once again, we were young and unafraid, and we were ready to start. I think the song is
I'm gonna read my parts. Oh, it is a copyrighted song.
yeah.
Yeah.
There.
Yes.
There. All right.
Miranda started a nonprofit to help countries without a monarchy, because all countries should have the right to be graciously ruled by the Mer Kingdom.
Right.
Damien found peace in the most unexpected way. He kept punching everything till one day he punched his own anger to death. He's written a book about it. Liam kept doing art so hard that he eventually evaporated and became the concept of coolness. Are these the same ones you had?
No.
Some of them are the same.
Okay.
Some of them are different.
As he left the physical plane, the last thing Liam did was give everyone a condescending look. Okay, and then the ending. For those 2 weeks, Monster Prom seemed larger than life, and then it was gone, just like that. The battle for Monster Prom might have ended then, but there were plenty of battles left in that war called youth. But once again, we were young and unafraid, and we were ready to start.
Do we play another round?
Not for me, unfortunately. I am going to call it a night here.
Okay.
But
A full round where we do challenges instead of random?
probably a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, we can try. We can try one of the shorter ones.
I'm up for anything.
Yeah.
I'm up for whatever as well.
Okay. So, Panda, do you definitely have to go?
Yes.
Okay.
I've got
All right.
I've got work tomorrow, and I've been having I haven't been sleeping too much.
Oh,
Well,
you should get some
congratulations on
sleep.
being the winner.
Yeah.
Yes, you did great.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
like I said, it may have been a while since I have played those Newgrounds dating sims, but the skills apparently have not left me.
Yeah, well, you did very well.
Mhm.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. I guess the rest of us will continue with one more round then.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
For that, I will talk to you folks later.
Yeah,
See ya,
take
Panda.
care. Bye,
Yeah.
Panda. All right, let's go back to online. Create. Okay. I can't hide the thing, so it's
Oh,
okay. All right.
Cool.
So we can get through this pretty quickly because we already play it. Do we want to try full game or short game?
Whichever.
What's the difference between the two? Like, is it just more days?
how
it's
many?
more
Yes.
days, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, either one is fine with me. I don't really mind.
Okay.
I am going to go use the washroom again real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Actually, this is probably a good point for any of us to take any breaks we need to make. I am going to go grab some water. If you need to get anything, Ocha, you can, or you can entertain our chats.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go take a break too. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
All right. So we will be right back. All right. We'll be right back, everyone.
Alright, I am back. And I think both of them are gone. You're good? How am I? I am amazing.
All right.
Oh, welcome back.
Welcome, welcome.
I missed you so much.
Aw, thank you. I missed you too.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you miss me.
That's okay.
Oh,
Sometimes it's
good.
good to miss people because then it reminds you how much you care about them. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. I bought Halloween candy, even though we never get trick-or-treaters.
I think I got like 7 last year.
Yeah, we don't get any because the library
Which
cave...
I'm kind of surprised.
Well, so...
Like, we've been getting a lot of like younger families moving in that I feel like would have kids.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean...
Library cave.
Yes, the library cave is across from a cemetery. And
Ooh.
there's like no houses on either side for like at least a quarter mile. So it's just kind of pointless. Like I think some people around here are not bold enough to hang out in the cemetery on Halloween night. I don't know why. I think it's kind of cool, but you know, I live across from it, so I don't care. But other people, I don't know. People just don't want to walk that far.
No. Excuse me.
So we don't get anybody hanging out for Halloween, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I just realized I left my door open. I'll be right back.
Welcome back. I missed you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. You know what? Why don't we just go for it? Let's go for the
let's do
full
it.
game.
Do it.
Alright. I'll skip all of the stuff at the beginning because we already, you know. Alright. I'm gonna be Blue Girl again.
It felt very weird not being the green character last time.
Yeah.
Green is my color.
Okay.
So this time, whoops, not green. I want to be Ocha. There we go.
Alright, I'm gonna escape that. Alright, our quiz. Welcome to Monster Prom's stupidest pop quiz ever. All minds are rotten, but they are rotten in so many different ways. Worry no more. Oh, I can escape. Let's skip through all that nonsense. Alright, you wish you were raised by a mysterious old man who saved me from the streets in order to raise me as his disciple in the ancient ways of rad DJing. A pack of wild wolves who also happen to be tech moguls who own some of the most profitable companies in Silicon Valley. They would be kick-ass role models and wild wolves. Sick. A really progressive marriage between a kick-ass venomous snake and an actual fire. I love fire and see no issue with being... I have no idea. All of these sound awesome.
Yeah,
I'll
this
just
is
pick the
hard.
first one.
I think I'm going to go with the pack of wolves.
I don't want to go with the fire one as I am the fire one. I'll go with DJ. So fun.
So wealthy.
Alright, if you had to have sex with an animal, which animal would it
God.
be? A human being, because I'm the kind of douchebag who loves to find loopholes in stupid questions like this one. A great white shark. If I have to fuck an animal, let's at least make it a story worth telling. A swan. They're classy, plus it reminds me of that myth of Leda and the swan, so at least by bestiality standards, it has a certain chic appeal. I'll just do the middle one.
Fuck. I'm gonna be following you. That means we're gonna be aiming for the same person.
Oh no!
I have to go for the aquatic one. What would be your dream first date? Oh yeah, I guess if we don't choose the same this one.
Alright. Dream first date. Professional meeting where you charm your date. But I am the dragon.
True.
But I'll do it anyway.
Oh no. I guess an art exhibit.
International waters. Oh, I got Polly.
Oh yeah. Because she's the party ghost.
Okay. Smarts, boldness. I'm gonna head to the bathroom. The day you oh my god, what am I doing?
Charging.
Yeah, you're charging.
Yeah. And that day you skip class and just hang out in the bathrooms because you respect no authority. I guess some people just want to watch the world burn. Yeah, that was a furry call-out question for sure. By skipping class and hanging out in the bathrooms. You give +0 shits, but you gain +2 boldness.
You don't shit in the bathroom?
I guess not.
Lame.
Scott and Miranda seem to be arguing about something. Your sweet mediation skills are clearly needed. No, I know our football team is called the Spooky High Spooky Monsters Who Spook, but also play sports. But who's our mascot? Our mascot? Oh, dang. You're right, we don't have one. Ooh, what about Misha the mermaid? Mermaids are monsters. No way. Too girly. Try this. Wally the werewolf. Why is it gotta be a werewolf? We're the monsters, not the werewolves. Yeah, well, we're not the mermaids either. Maybe the problem is that the team name is trying to cover a huge diverse group of people with a single label? No, Coach is never wrong. We're just not thinking hard enough. Think. Hey, you. You look like a hard thinker. A mascot should be used for our team. Let's see. Easy, we'll just genetically engineer a cross between every kind of monster at the school. Head of a werewolf, tail of a mermaid, hair of a Medusa, angst of a vampire. We'll call it the Abomination. Alright, just find a regular human, dress him up in a business suit, make him the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, corporate greed. That's the real monster. Ooh, I like the second one. I think I'm just gonna do the second one. I don't care what I get. What? But if corporate greed is the real monster, what are we then? Aren't we real monsters? Are we regular people? Fake monsters, vegetables, fictional characters in a video game made for people to amuse themselves by trying to romance us? Breaking the fourth
Break
wall.
the fourth wall, yeah.
Ugh, my thinking muscle is hurting. I think you just broke Scott. Congratulations. Breaking Scott is definitely not cool. This is why we can't have nice things. You lose -2 fun and -1 smarts.
Yet you gained love from Scott.
I did.
Yeah, you gotta be stupid to be with Scott. So... I guess we'll go... library? That day, you spend some time on the library's PCs, sending malicious spam emails in the hopes of stealing other people's money. It doesn't sound very nice, but who's really the one to be blamed if they respond to such a blatant scam? You lose -10 karma, which isn't a stat in this game, so who cares? You gain +2 money. You notice Liam and Scott having a discussion. Scott looks confused and Liam looks bored, which means they're probably having an argument. Look, not that I care, but aspiring to be a professional sports star is both impractical and passé. Wait, you don't care? But you walked all the way over here just to tell me that. Plus, don't you want to be like a professional magnetic ibuprofen? Memetic influencer. Try to keep up. But how does one of those guys earn money? Mimetic influencers don't earn money, Scott. We earn cultural capital. Oh, okay. How much cultural capital does a sandwich cost? I can see that I'm not getting through to you. Hey, you, could you explain to this cretin why my career path is objectively the best? Yeah, and also, could you, like, explain what a cretin is? Liam means he wants to be an artist, and artists are important. Who do you think designs all those sports jerseys? Actually, I think sports is the best career. I mean, how far can a mimetic influencer throw a football, huh? I think I'm gonna go for Liam this time. Whoa, artists do that? I always thought uniforms were designed by the same person who designed my studly pecs. God. Liam, are you God? Well, Scott, God is dead. But so am I. So essentially, yes. So cool. You wonder how long it will take for Scott to figure out Liam isn't actually God. In the meantime, you gain +2 creativity, and +1 smarts.
Nice.
Alright, I'm going to party town. Ooh! I like my outfit. That day during recess, you start a half-hour rave that goes full crazy. You have no idea how it escalates so much, but at one point there are like 300 people. Someone summons demons from the nightmare dimension. The consequences might distort the fabric of reality itself, but who cares? It's a rad party. You gain +2 fun. Afterward, you see Polly and Damien eating some delicious-looking cookies. Hey, would you like to buy a cookie to benefit the agents of chaos? I'm trying to get my destructive capitalism badge. All proceeds go directly to the uprising of chaos over order, and it's tax deductible. As I was setting fire to a nursing home the other day, I heard a voice echo so loudly in my head that my teeth rattled. It told me of an ancient order, and as it was described to me in 1,000 voices, blood trickled from my ears. And then the voices gave me a badge for harassment of the elderly. And I earned my first badge for being unable and unwilling to stop partying. My goal is to get enough badges to make a bikini out of, and then wear it and nothing else, everywhere, forever. I love her.
She's great.
My goal is to get enough badges that Polly makes a bikini out of them, wears it and nothing else, everywhere, forever. I wonder what badge we should go for next, and what hijinks we can get it into to earn it. You know what's crazy, God? Like being single and partying forever. Destroy the instruction. Chaos is always better with some sensible agony. Replace all the water in the school with swarms of mosquitoes. Oh, God. That's probably Damien. Which means this would be Polly. Yes, Queen! I said that terribly. I always say that marriage is like such an outdated institution. But think how panicked old people will be if we dismantle it. Yeah, they'll act as if, like, it matters or something. I'll head to City Hall and torch all the marriage certificates. And I'm gonna go to all the bridal salons and pour pig's blood on all of the dresses. Perfect. Man, we're gonna get that disrupting societal norms badge easy as pie. Badge bikini, here I come. Why do even the simplest plans seem to escalate into arson and blood so quickly? Whatever, you gain +2 fun, +1 boldness.
Nice.
Challenge. We're challenging this time.
Alright, challenge run. Everybody chooses a movie. Say your choice out loud to the rest of the players before clicking. Okay. Ready?
Wait, I have a movie in mind and I'm blanking on the... Oh, yes, I remember the name of it now.
Do you have a movie, Ocha?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, ready? Alright, Crossroads.
Die Hard.
Titanic.
Nice! Player order is decided based on how weird it would be to watch porn based on the selected movie. I mean, Titanic actually has nudity.
It
Yeah.
does. And it has the whole scene in the car and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess mine wouldn't be that good.
Die
What is
Hard.
Crossroads?
It's the Britney Spears movie.
Oh.
It's the one where it's like it's not like it's fictional. It's not based on her life, but it's
Well, I
like
mean,
girly movie.
how weird would gunfight, tower explosions, porn be? Did I
I don't
win?
know.
You might have.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a little hard for them to put porn in between explosions.
Alright, so I got
Alright.
first, Aspen got second, Ocha got third.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright.
Oh, this doesn't look... What is this? Twice as long as the short one?
Yeah,
Something
seems
like
like
that.
it.
Alright, let's see. Where's... Oh. Oh, shoot. Was one of you going for Damien?
No.
I don't know who I'm going for, honestly.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going for Polly. Strange, you could have sworn Polly and Damien were at the table when you picked it. Psst, hey loser, down here. It's us, Polly and Damien, hiding under the table for totally innocent reasons. A ferocious roar sounds from the door of the cafeteria. Crazy Martin the Werebear janitor is here and he's looking for someone. Oh shit, he's here! Why is he after us anyway? I think what we did really falls more under federal jurisdiction. International law, more like. Those munchkins were Canadian citizens. Now that you mention it, I think we might actually have to face a war crimes tribunal. Worth it though, right? Oh, totally. As long as we can get away from Buzzkill the bear over there. Just hide in the ghost zone. You know, the special alternate dimension only ghosts can use. Hide behind diplomatic immunity. I mean, you're both princes of hell, right? Wait. Is it not the most obvious thing?
I don't know. Sometimes it is, and
I'm
sometimes
scared.
it isn't. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
scared. It seems like it's so obvious, and then what's gonna... I'm going for the obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. But I can't hide in the ghost zone. I'm not a goat. Wait, you're not? Oh, Damien's saying that. I'm like, what? I guess you should have thought of that before you spent all the time being alive, huh? Being alive isn't a choice. It actually is. Well, okay, I don't have the time to sit here and argue pro-life or pro-choice with you, my dude. See you in the ghost zone. No, you won't. You can't follow Polly into the ghost zone. But from the way she winks at you before crossing over, it looks like you're one step closer to the bone zone.
Bow chicka wow
I-
wow.
Get fucking raided as I'm saying to the bone zone. Kaz, thank you for the raid. How was your stream? You literally raided in as I'm reading a sex joke. Whoops, wait. I don't know how can I highlight your name so I can shout you out, please? There we go. You can, oh.
Oh, I'm on an ad break.
Mm-hmm.
On my stream?
On mine.
Oh, on yours, okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Game. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry,
Alright.
I could have ended that earlier.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm still on my ad break anyway.
Oh, you can wait for ads to end before you continue.
I'll go sit over here. I don't know. It's in 26 seconds anyway. Alright. Watching Vera eat is usually pretty disturbing. Her snakes eat at the same time she does. But at least it's usually quiet. This time, however, Scott is doing his best to change that. Go Lefty! Gobble that mouse! No, watch out for Wiggles coming up from behind! Use that tongue! Go! Ugh. He does this every week or so, whenever my snakes need a meal. He seems to think snake eating contests are a competitive sport. Also, I don't think he realizes that an actual snake eating contest would probably involve people eating snakes. I tried charging him for tickets to get him to stop, but he actually pays to do this. He keeps track of each snake's statistics on a little index card. He's even given them names. Go Slither! Go Bendy! Go Sanchez! Go Snake! Those aren't their names. God, no matter how much he pays for the tickets, it isn't enough. This seems like a really tense situation. You resolve it in the only way you know how, by opening your mouth and yelling. Boring! This is nothing compared to earthworm eating contests. Or, snake! 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 Eat that food and stay awake! Should I go for Scott? Or should I go for Vera?
I don't
You
know.
got Scott points last round, didn't you?
I think I did. I'll just go for... Alright. Alright, let's go for that. That's the spirit. Get your head in the game, Sanchez. Do snakes have heads? Or are they just neck and face? Whoa. Check it out. Benny's been behind all season with a record low BMI. That's body mass index. The index is because I wrote it on this index card. But now she's hungry for victory. Let's go, Bendy! Swallow that glory! The snakes really do seem to enjoy having an audience. They're really hamming it up. Or should it be snaking it up? Your wild cheering motivates Bendy to really go all out. She tries to grab the mouse out of Lefty's jaws, but the two end up tearing it in half. Ah, my scalp! It'll take my snake charmer hairdresser hours to get those organs out. Oh, major foul on Bendy there. She's gonna be out for the rest of the season. Damn right she is. I'm having her muzzled. And her name is Spirulina. By the time Vera's cleaned up the blood and run off, you've made plans to meet with Scott to watch the next match. Nice.
Alright, I'm gonna sit next to my boy. You notice Liam looking disgruntled, which is his default, so whatever. But it seems like Miranda is pretty upset too. Better check it out. Liam, why are you typing on your phone so angrily? Did your phone offend you in some way? Why are you mad at it? You seem to be an 8.5 on the Frowny Liam scale. The what? The Frowny Liam scale. Normally I can tell how people are feeling from their faces. But you seem to be frowning most of the time, so I created a chart to measure your frowniness. Miranda pulls out a notepad and displays a series of doodles of Liam's frowniness. They're not super accurate, but they are super adorable. I'm not angry at my phone. My so-called frowniness is caused by a heinous error. I specifically asked my creature creme brulee be extra crispy, so it truly popped with my hashtag massacre momentgram filter. Instead, they burnt it to a crisp, rendering it unphotographable. Monsters deserve to know what they're getting into if they choose to eat at this cafeteria, so they can choose to take their business to a different establishment, and so I'm writing a scathing Yelp review. Liam, you can't do that. If they shut the cafeteria down, the school kitchen staff will lose their jobs. Did you know that peasants have to do labor to make living wages? They don't simply have an unlimited store of gold. I was shocked when I first found out. Of course you were. If the kitchen staff wanted to earn their wages, they should have been better at their jobs. I am simply the merchant of truth. No, you're the merchant of poop. Your royal sophistication shines through. Look, ask Ocha. His taste may tend toward the mainstream, but surely he can see the subpar cafeteria must be exposed. Don't be ridiculous. Ocha is surely more compassionate than that and would gladly help me save the cafeteria. Again. Again? Gosh, why is it hard to keep track of your misadventures at the shit show of a school? Still, you'll help if you can. Miranda can't undermine Liam's admittedly talented criticism alone. This will take an army of homeless people to pay to write. We pay to write positive Yelp reviews of the cafeteria until we escape Liam's, or until we eclipse Liam's. Liam, one lone voice simply cannot shut down this cafeteria, at least not the voice of a high schooler. Let's get a renowned food critic to write a Pulitzer-worthy expose to be published in the most widely read periodicals. Yeah, we'll have to do this one. Excellent idea. I am an incredible, intelligent, compassionate person with tons of humility. More than enough to admit when a professional's help may be of use to me. You think you have the most humility? You shall never be as humble as I am. Every day my servants tell me I am the humblest person ever to live. Miranda storms off in a huff, leaving you and Liam to proceed with your amazing, incredible genius plan. You're super humble too. You use your magnificent calligraphy skills you've picked up in your elective class, calligraphy and murder, to write 5 letters chock full of #aesthetic. Liam produces a delicate white dove from his backpack. How is it breathing in there? And gives it the newly addressed letters. You're not sure what's more intriguing, the fact that Liam trusts that the dove will be able to read the addresses to deliver the letters, or the fact that the addresses he wrote down were just their emails. Regardless, it seems to have worked because within a minute of the dove's release, you receive your first reply on your phones. Ah, I knew the exquisite Jacques Aznavour would have enthusiasm for our plight, thus his immediate response. Dear Liam, I received your message. Though the calligraphy is quite impressive, I'm afraid I must give you the same answer I gave you when you asked me to write a review on the cuisine cooked by your friend's grandmother last Thanksgiving. I don't know how you got a dove to find out where I live based on my email address, but stop contacting me. Most lovingly yours, great and humblest food critic, Jacques Aznavour. Oh, Ocha, nobody understands the severity of the creme brulee transgression. Thank goodness we have each other. Heck yeah, you have each other for prom. Hopefully. At the very least, maybe he'll let you borrow that dove sometime to send anthrax to your enemies.
Nice.
Jesus.
All right, challenge.
Always challenge.
All right, everybody chooses a brand. Say your choice out loud to the rest of the players before clicking. Louis Vuitton.
Nike.
Speedo.
Okay.
I was actually considering Nike.
Player order is decided based on how weird it would be if the selected brand paid for product placement in Game of Thrones. Start debating now. Oh god, none of those
How would
belong in
Speedo
Game
not-
of Thrones.
Well,
Speedo, yeah.
Speedo would be great. Well, Speedo.
Maybe in one of the, like, you know, more sus scenes in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Just had like Speedo written on somebody's butt. With like
Right.
in a Speedo.
Right.
What was yours, Aspen?
Louis Vuitton.
Oh. I mean, I could kind of see it, Louis Vuitton actually working in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, like you know, whenever they're traveling, they have their Louis Vuitton luggage with them. Yeah, especially someone like oh, what's her name? Oh my god, what is her name?
I do not.
Starts with a C. The
Cersei?
Cersei, yeah. I think she would carry Louis Vuitton around with her.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's not
So-
that weird. Nike.
I'm thinking maybe swimming, then me, then Aspen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that sound...
Okay.
Speedo would definitely be weird.
Yeah.
I accept a win.
Alright, okay.
Alright. Let's go to the auditorium. That day, while rehearsing for the class play, it's as though the muses themselves have descended to give you figurative oral sex. And as I read oral sex, I get a sub.
Nice.
Intro, thank you so much for the sub. How are
Nice.
you? Your performance is intense and inspiring. It will be remembered for generations, which is pretty rad by high school play standards. You gain +2 creativity. You're just getting ready to leave when you get a text from Polly. Hey baby, let's party. How could you refuse such a formal missive? You track her down immediately. Hi. Hey, you got my text. That's good, because I need some help brainstorming. I'm going to a party tonight, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be lame, and that needs to change. See, it's a costume party, you know, where everyone dresses up as their favorite humans. I'm going as a sexy tax attorney, but I'm not sure even the sexiest tax attorney can rescue this party from the depths of lamitude. So, got any ideas to help spice things up? Yeah, just go naked. Oh, you've got some ideas, and they're the spiciest. Expect to punch with mandrake root. It turns monsters into actual humans. Okay, so... Okay, you go as a sexy tax attorney. I'll go as a sexy tax evader.
Nice.
Yes. Yes. I have to. No!
Oh.
Later that night, you're hanging out at the party, waiting for Polly, wearing a shirt that says, I have unpaid taxes. When suddenly you hear a booming voice from the door. Halt, tax evader! You turn around, expecting to see Polly with her sexy vest and pocket calculator. But it's actually a grizzly tyrannosaur in a business suit from the Department of Monstrous Revenue.
Oh no.
As you flee the scene, you see Polly about to put on a lab coat and goggles. Hey, why are you running? Why are you wearing that shirt? Oh, did you think I was actually gonna be a sexy tax attorney? I was super high when I said that. I'm actually just a sexy chemist. You're going to need a regular chemist. After the beating that Tyrannosaur gives you, you lose -2 money and -1 boldness. Damn.
Oh, no.
Alright, let me think. I need to go... Maybe... class? That day you listen to your elders and learn valuable lessons. Sometimes after all the monster nonsense and the dating gimmicks, you forget that attending class is supposed to be the primary activity at this high school. You gain +2 smarts. In art class, you're having a hard time looking at the unspeakable eldritch relic you're supposed to be painting, when Liam and Miranda thankfully provide you with a distraction. What are you talking about, Miranda? That relic clearly represents the futility of man's quest for meaning in a world of consumer goods. But how do you know that, Liam? To me, it just looks like a gruesome and horrific offering to a pitiless god, like Uncle Anathema used to make. Why, it's easy, Miranda. When I want to discern the true meaning of a piece of art, I simply, make it up, or look at the bottom and read the clearly printed label that explains the true meaning of the art. I think real artists just make it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Oh, no! I don't make anything up, you buffoon. My opinions on art are objectively correct. Yes, I agree with Liam. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about, after all. Perhaps are you jealous of Liam's ability to objectively understand art? I'm used to it. The social isolation I experience is entirely to do with jealousy and nothing at all to do with me being an asshole. Can you teach me to objectively understand the meaning of art? No. Curse you, cruel fate. Liam and Miranda ignore you after that, and you're forced to return your attention to the malevolent statue. It slowly drives you mad, and you get a C- on your drawing. You lose -2 smarts and -1 creativity. Damn.
Outdoors. Why do I have some kind of weird little thing coming from my butt? I don't get it.
You're shaking your ass.
I guess. Okay, maybe I'm twerking?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. That day during recess, you start a half-hour rave that goes full crazy. At one point, Juan, the small, magical Latino cat, slips on a banana peel. You start to laugh at him. He asks you to stop, but you don't. You laugh so hard at him that you somehow steal +2 fun from him. Hooray! Nearby, you can see Scott and the wolf pack talking. Scott, we have the greatest power drink to date. Check this out, bro. Oh, I love power drinks. I love how doofy he looks in that expression.
Yeah.
But wait, This new cutting-edge sports supplement is like no other before. There's no need to mix it with a beverage. You can consume it using only your nose.
Is it cocaine?
Probably. It's called cocaine. Yeah, cocaine. Whoa. That totally doesn't sound like your regular power drink. Which definitely means it's cutting edge, just like you said. Yeah. It's like 50% energy drink, 50% protein powder, and 100% raw power. God damn it with these crazy pranks. But before you can do anything, Scott has snorted all the coke.
Oh my god.
What? And he's gone full wolf mode. And now he's basically unleashed and is destroying everything he sees. You need to do something to calm him down. But what? Using your vast knowledge of aromatherapy, give him some lavender-scented cocaine to neutralize the regular scented cocaine and relax him a bit. Give him a flashy... Oh, he gets the flashy fidget spinner.
Yeah.
You start spinning a very flashy fidget spinner in front of Wolf Scott. I mean, because honestly, if you just give him more cocaine, it's going to make him worse.
Yeah.
He stops wreaking havoc and stares at the spinning fidget spinner. It's so spinny. After a while, he reverts to his normal self. Because everyone knows that cocaine triggers a werewolf transformation, but a fidget spinner can cancel it.
Good to know.
Bro, this thingy is the best thingy ever! It's like a very safe and friendly shuriken. Can I keep it? How can you say no to that pair of puppy dog eyes? Hooray! You see Scott fleeing with your fidget spinner, still managing to wreak some havoc despite calling it very safe and friendly. Clumsy, handsome Scott. You gain +2 charm and +1 smarts.
Okay.
That weekend, something happened to... Oh, something happened to me. Alright. Nothing's better after a hard week of paying zero attention in class than blowing off steam by blowing things up. You, Liam, Damien, Polly, Swim, and Ocha are having an awesome time drinking and causing destruction of personal property when suddenly everything goes black. You wake up an unspecified amount of time later in the darkness, hazy and chained. Dude, am I like tripping really hard? Are we chained up in a well or something? From somewhere far above, you hear the shrieking cackles of the Slayer. Yes, you are! And the well is being filled with water, and soon you'll drown. Guess you should be more careful when accepting drinks from strangers. Nah, that sounds like something pussies would do. Girl, this is so uncool. I know you have something going on with Damien and Liam, but me? Come on! Empowered women empower women. Water starts pouring in, but nobody seems especially scared. If you think about it, this is a pretty shitty plan. I don't need to breathe and Polly can just phase out. Yeah, and why not just stake yourself through the heart while we're drugged, or chop my head off? So, everyone's a critic now, huh? No, but seriously, girl, I'm just going to disappear in a minute and reappear somewhere else. So as far as I'm concerned, the big takeaway from this experience was that I got a free drink. And free drugs in that free drink. And that's all well and good, but you're not sure how resistant to asphyxiation you and your other buddies are. You look around the well, there are tons of coins people have tossed in over the years to make a wish. Along with a few random pieces of trash that people decide to discard, or maybe threw them in to also make wishes, who's to say? Is that an old pamphlet on Episcopalian principles? I don't know, I was distracted by the rusty iron bear trap. And I'm just living for this glow-in-the-dark dildo. Wait, maybe we can use them to escape. I feel weakened from the drugs, which is lame, but I bet I can break one person out who can free all of us using those 3 random items. But who should it be? Aspen, you seem to know everyone's business. What do you think? Oh, good question. Which of your friends could use an Episcopalian pamphlet, a bear trap, and a dildo to escape? Wow. I don't even know how to do that. Definitely Swim. She's an artist. This well, her canvas, and an Episcopalian pamphlet, bear trap, and dildo, her paints. We'll be out of here in the blink of an artistic eye. Are you kidding? Ocha is the best-selling author of the nonfiction work How to Escape from a Well Using a Religious Paraphernalia, Hunting Gear, and a Sex Toy. His moment has finally arrived. Alright, so wait, hang on a second. Use my memory. I do know that Swim did an artistic, a creativity one, so I'm just gonna go with Swim. Nice. Okay. Great. Wait, hang on. Yep. Great. Swim it is then. Get ready to be busted out of your chains with demon strength. So mote it be. With a flash of devilish muscle, Swim is now free to begin her brilliant work. Stacking the dildo, the Episcopalian pamphlet, and the bear trap, one on top of the other, held together by some of the pennies, Swim has cobbled together my long-lost brother! The Slayer yells from somewhere above the well. Is that your silhouette I see, Salil? Yes, it is. And if you don't stop this right now, he'll drown with us. Quick as a flash, the Slayer stops the water and jumps down into the well. Damien steals the keys off of her, knocks her out, frees the rest of you, and all 6 of you escape from the well. Damn, I'm strong. Good choice, Aspen, for telling me how I should use my amazing strength. And well done, Swim, as well. Truly, that sculpture was incredibly beautiful. It belongs in a modern art exhibit. It's at least the 2nd or 3rd most beautiful sculpture made of an Episcopalian pamphlet, bear trap, and dildo I've ever seen in my life. And I like the part where we made the Slayer look like an idiot. And where I got a free drink and free drugs with it. It looks like a win-win-win-win-win-win situation because all 6 of you walked away winners. But most importantly, you and Swim both win 3 boldness. Nice.
Nice.
And you all walk away alive, or in the afterlife, or in dead. Whatever. Let's trade places. Alright, challenge. Everybody chooses an object. Say your choice out loud to the rest of the players before clicking.
Any object?
Yes. Scented candle.
Dreidel.
I'm just gonna go for it. Dildo.
I was considering dildo. Decided based on how
You made
unsexy
the
it would
bad
be to use
choice.
the selected object as a sexual toy.
Damn it!
I win.
I mean, how unsexy would be. Yeah.
But the candles are pretty. I mean, they're pretty sexy.
Yeah. But a dildo is an actual sex toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
we're being Aspen and then me.
Yeah.
I've gotten first on every single one so
I
far.
know.
Yeah, you really
Library, class, gym. Wait, I can't go to the football field? That's not a thing?
Mm-mm.
I think it's connected to the gym.
Oh, that makes sense. I guess I'll do the library then. Wait, Polly would never be in the library.
Polly would definitely party.
Yeah, I think she'd be at the party place, right?
Or
But that's the shop right now.
Oh, you're right.
maybe the gym or the bathrooms.
Yeah.
I could do the bathrooms. That day you visit the bathrooms to take a number 2. Don't worry, there won't be an illustration of that specific moment. The thing is, you make one of the boldest decisions in your life. You don't put paper on the toilet seat before using it. Look at you, crazy bastard. You gain +2 boldness and probably +1 staphylococcus. I can't English.
Staphylococcus.
Staphylococcus. With a slight chance of +1 STD. Later, you see Polly floating around, her ghostly glow less ghastly than usual. Oh, hey, Swim. I'm just hovering a little low today. Everyone seems so hyped about love, and I love being hyped, but I'm not really sure how this love thing works, you know? I thought I was in love once. I met a beautiful girl at a party and felt this strange magic. My temperature rose. I felt even floatier than usual. Everything was so bright and beautiful, I was ecstatic. But then I remembered that I had taken literal ecstasy, so it was probably just that. Classic mistake, am I right? I have some highs, but they say being in love is the greatest high of all. The next time I'm on a date with someone, what can I do to fall in love? Or float in love, since gravity doesn't actually affect me. Oh, you don't want Polly to float in love with another person, but you like Polly just too much to not help her, despite the consequences. Scientifically speaking, people fall in love faster when afraid. Do something fun with them, like getting stabbed. Stare deeply into their eyes for 14 hours. That sounds terrible. These both sound like bad ideas.
Well, the first one is actually true.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first one actually is a thing.
Although,
Yeah,
I don't
but
know
she's
if
a
getting
ghost. She can't get stabbed.
Right.
But maybe she would do the stabbing? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I
this
don't
sounds
know.
like it would bore her. Or does she have possession powers being a ghost, and she can possess them by staring into their eyes? Let's go with this one. Yes! Of course! They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. Of course I'm dead, so I don't actually have literal physical eyes or a body. I'm just a soul. But what a perfect way to see into the soul of someone who does have a body. Thanks, Swim. That wasn't quite what I was aiming for, but it worked. With that, Polly disappears, literally, to begin her soul-searching quest for love. She catches up to you a few days later. Hey, so I went on a date the other night with a super cute humanoid, and I got him home, and we took all our clothes off, and we stared into each other's eyes for 82 hours.
Jesus.
I figured if 14 hours was great, 82 would be super awesome, mega great. Pretty quickly, his eyes started watering with tears of love for me, and I felt so connected staring into them that I felt it too. His love for me made him weaker and weaker, and I could see him growing faint and dizzy, and looking so deeply into his eyes, I felt dizzy too, and I wasn't even on drugs, so it must have been love. And then he was so in love with me that he died. On an unrelated note, it turns out that human beings physically can't look away from a ghost's eyes for as long as they're being stared at.
Oh, no.
And also require food and water to live. Who knew, am I right? Anyway, we were totally definitely in love for at least several of those pre-death hours, and I can't wait to feel that feeling again.
Oh, no.
Thanks, Swim. Catch you later with my love-making ghost eyes. Oh man, Polly has opened herself up to love. And to you. Hopefully you won't have to make eye contact for quite that long, but hey, gain +2 charm and +1 boldness.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the gym. That day, an epic dodgeball match takes place. Everything seems lost, but you deliver an inspirational speech that fuels your team spirit, leading to a spectacular comeback. You're clearly a natural-born leader. You gain +2 charm. Later, you hear an unmistakable growling that can only mean one thing. Intergalactic lions have broken through space to devour one of the smaller, weaker students. No, wait, it's just the wolf pack. Guess it could have meant two things. For the last time, is this a bromance or bro treason, broski? You're my teammates and my family. I'm not trying to be a bad Scot, but this is the 3rd month in a row you've missed our full moon bro down. We got together and practiced a wolf pyramid and then helped each other inject sheep steroids. We played flip cup with lamb's blood spiked with natty ice. That all sounds really nice, but I already had plans and I didn't want to let people down. Bro, you're a wolf. Are you with the wolf pack or are you with those other monsters? Oh damn, you're one of those other monsters. You better do something. Let me teach you a new game, extremely long distance fetch. Guys. On the inside, aren't we all wolves? Ugh, I don't know with this one. Ugh. I have a... can I convince them? I have a lot of charm and a lot of boldness.
Yeah.
Guys on the inside, aren't we all wolves?
I think they're pretty stupid, right? So they could probably be convinced.
Yeah, let's try. So charming. Oh, good. Bro, that's like deep, bro. Like super deep. Maybe too deep? Nah, bro. The perfect deepness. This is exactly the kind of question we need to be asking ourselves as SJWs. Yes, super jacked wolves need to be socially aware too. Ooh, now I get it. We're all wolves because we all pee in the same toilets, or because the school is one big wolf pack? Bro, maybe it is. Maybe it is. The wolves wander away to ponder this further. You're not sure they're sold on this, or that they're entirely sober, so the effects may not last. Wow, you sure know a lot about wolves, and life, and everything. You must have a lot of smarts. I think it's easy to have a lot more smarts than him.
Yeah.
Scott looks at you with awe, and you have a feeling that he's just gained a lot of respect for you, while you've gained +2 smarts and +1 charm.
Nice.
Nice.
I'll go to the auditorium this time. That day, while rehearsing for the class play, you aren't especially good nor inspired. For once, it seems you aren't getting the classic creativity boost from the auditorium. But afterwards, while talking to your classmates, you're having trouble conveying your point in a discussion, so you decide to convey it through music. You start singing, and suddenly everyone else joins you in a kick-ass musical number. It's so amazing that the people with whom you were arguing totally get your point and change their minds once the song is over. You gain +2 creativity. You find Liam storming out of the dressing room, still wearing his very fancy costume. He goes straight to Vera, where she sits in the audience, as usual, judging people. You've got to help me, Vera. Art is in jeopardy. Help you? Please. I signed up to be a dramaturge specifically because it allowed me to criticize people without doing any real work. You may return to your calculated apathy immediately after helping me sign underground supergroup Yogurt Resort to score our play. You want Yogurt Resort to score our play? The ones who did Help Me I'm Drowning in Tractors? I hate to admit it, but that's actually a very cool idea. The fact that someone besides me knows about Yogurt Resort only makes me slightly less excited about this plan, which should tell you how important this is to me. How are you going to pay for that, though? Ugh, that's exactly what the director said. Everyone is trying to smother my artistic spark beneath the boot heel of capitalism. It appears that I must make some concessions in the invisible hand of the market if I am to realize my dream. Yeah, I definitely want this to happen, Liam. We just have to figure out how. Have a bake sale, but with cocaine instead of baked goods. I'll tell them we're all orphans and that this is a charity event.
Bake sale with cocaine sounds very Vera to me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the orphans. Oh. Damn. You know I'm really not. I really am an orphan, right? Wow, awkward. You flee to the fire exit where you find a box marked "In case of awkwardness, break glass." You break the glass. There's nothing in the box. There's just glass in your hand. You lose -2 charm and -1 smarts. Damn, I'm not doing very well.
Alright, challenge.
Yeah.
Everybody chooses an occupation. Say your choice out loud for the rest of the players before clicking. Chicken sexer.
Professional swimmer, which I guess would be like
doctor.
Olympic swimmer. A dog
Yeah.
what?
Doctor.
Doctor.
Oh, doctor. I totally
Okay.
misheard that.
Player order is decided based on how boring a VR simulator based on the selected occupation would be. Start debating now.
Well, there are multiple doctor games in VR.
Yeah.
Maybe the chicken sexer would be the most boring, because it'd just be looking at baby chickens
It
all
would
day.
literally
Right.
be the same repeated
Yeah.
Over and over
flip, toss,
and
flip,
over.
toss, flip, toss.
You push
flip,
either
toss.
the left button or the right button to play the game. That would be it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Aspen swimming and then me.
Okay. All right, lunchtime. I guess I have to go sit with Scott again.
I did not get first that time.
Okay. Scott and Polly are sitting together laughing their metaphorical asses off. Yo, Damien! Do Damien! Do Damien! Grr, I'm Damien. Look at my stupid red face. I use violence to cover up the fact that I've been brought up to a very toxic version of masculinity, which has alienated me from my own true emotions. Haha, you sound exactly like him. Okay, you do Vera. I'm Vera, I'm very smart and my hair is pretty and all my friends look up to me because I am a strong, independent woman. Scott, I'm not sure you understand how impressions work. I'm not Scott, I'm Vera, you can tell because I said my name just now. Okay. Oh, what about you, Aspen? Got any good impressions? Just one, but it's a real doozy. Woof woof, it's me, Scott, a dog boy who is bad at impressions. Look at me, I'm Polly, look at me go. Oh boy, I feel like either one would insult more than impress.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Scott wouldn't get it. Like I don't.
This
I don't
is
know.
hard.
Yeah.
A dog boy who's bad at impressions. Look at me, I'm Polly. Look at me go. Look at me, I'm Polly. Look at me go. Oh god, I don't know. I almost feel like I have to flip a coin. You know what? I'll choose the Scott one. Or the Polly one. I don't know! But he would probably think the Polly one is good. But he might think anyone is good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do the first one. Oh, Polly liked
That was
it.
Polly.
I know you're doing an impression of me because you said my name, but... Oh my god, that sounds exactly like him! It does? Yeah, remember the time we took that impressions class together and we had to introduce ourselves? Oh, yeah, I guess I did say woof woof, it's me, Scott, a dog boy who is bad at impressions. But I didn't yell like that. I'm sorry, are you the real Scott? There's two absolutely identical werewolves in front of me and I can't tell the difference. Polly insists on a smooching contest to determine who the real Scott is. You end up winning in more ways than one. I didn't mean to steal Polly from you. think it's...
Well, there goes my Polly.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Ocha, who are you going for?
I'm going for Liam.
Okay, so I'll avoid. You arrive at your chosen table to find Miranda folding napkins at Vera. Do you want to know what this one is for, Vera? No. I'll take that as a yes. The rose-shaped napkin fold is for birthdays between the ages of 16 and 22. Miranda's hands move fast as lightning, turning the rose into a gorgeous white swan. By contrast, this swan folding is for first weddings, first weddings, third weddings, and swan giveaways. As a fashion enthusiast, I have never been so bored by a piece of fabric. Oh, and this black swan folding is for weddings where you plan to brutally murder all the guests. Not very popular, the black swan folding. Okay, that's sort of cool, but I'm still aggressively uninterested. You happen to have some napkin folding skills yourself. Maybe you can spice up this interaction. You decide to show off your most impressive napkin fold. If you fold the napkin like so, it creates a self-aware napkin whose sole purpose is to fold more napkins.
Oh god.
This writhing snake fold is for when it is time to leave Vera alone and stop explaining napkin folds. I feel like she wouldn't like that, actually. But I feel like this might be positive for both. Let's see what this does. Okay. Oh, that's adorable. Look at it folding everybody's napkins. It's like a tiny, adorable surf. It looks like it's folding the other napkins into more self-folding napkins. I know, it's so efficient. Go, little napkin surf, be free. Aren't you worried this will turn into a self-replicating napkin scenario, progressing geometrically until the world is nothing but napkins? Why, that sounds lovely. God, you're impossible. You seem to have mispronounced impeccable. Whatever, I'm leaving before the napkin fold take over the world. Vera leaves you alone for a romantic lunch with Miranda. You can't hang out too long, though. You've got to stop those napkins before they take over the world.
Alright, let's go here. When you reach Liam and Damien's table, you find it absent of food but covered in paperwork. Do we really need all these special forms? Can't we just write death threats on regular paper? For the last time, Damien, substantive change within an administrative system requires mastery of the mechanisms of bureaucracy. What if we wrote the death threats on really fancy paper? Liam turns to address you. As you can see, my mastery of realpolitik has caused me to embrace an unlikely ally in my quest for reform. I have no idea what he's saying. I just want the cafeteria food to stop being so fucking boring. You see, our interests are aligned. I too desire a menu less pedestrian. Sure. Either way, we're stuck on this last bit. We know we want the menu to change, but we don't know what to change it to. Yes, we have indeed encountered a culinary block. Perhaps you can suggest something appropriately artistic? A white plate with a single sprig of parsley in the center, the essence of minimalism, or a bowl of knives, the essence of knives. I'm gonna say this one.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it? Don't you see, Damien? It's a bold commentary on the emptiness of consumption. Really? It sounds like a plate with a leaf on it. Oh, you'll never understand. But like, why even have a leaf on the plate if you're trying to be so minimalistic? Or minimalist? My god, you're right. Why even have a plate? Why have anything at all? That's it, our new menu item. Nothing. The school receives Liam's petition. From now on, the lunch line will include one empty tray, a great victory for artistic expression. Okay.
All right.
Challenge.
Everybody chooses something cool. Say your choice out loud to the rest of the players. Okay. I don't know.
So,
How am I supposed to know it's
Ice.
cool?
fuck!
Ice. Me!
You took my ice.
Ice.
Hold on. I need to think of something else literally cool because you took my ice before I said it. You know what? Let's just go with penguins.
Penguins. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm going with me because I'm an ice dragon, so.
Okay.
Player order is decided based on how crazy it would be if 100 years from now the selected thing became the new world's currency. Start
I
debating
think I
now.
win because we're heading towards an inevitable heat death of the world. So I
Yeah.
think it'd be really weird if ice was the currency 100 years from now, because there probably is not going to be any ice left.
It would melt as you try to give it to someone.
Yeah.
Which holds up that crazy.
Right.
Although Aspen being
All the
currency is
penguins
also
would be
weird.
dead, so you'd just be passing around rotting corpses.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one of me. I can't be currency. There's only one. So that doesn't work.
That's true. Yeah. So which would make it crazy.
True.
Yeah.
All of these are good.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe Aspen me swimming?
Okay.
Because yeah, I don't know.
Whichever.
I think
Yeah.
that sounds right to me.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Where am I with this? Creativity, charm, fun, money. Wait, hang on. Oh, that's interesting. When you put it over your stats, it shows you which ones are for which.
Mm.
Okay, so I don't know that I need money. I'm pretty low on creativity. I have loads of charm. And charm is the gym. Boldness. You know what? I'll go to the auditorium.
Okay.
That day while rehearsing for the class play, you can't help but feel you're not as good as the role requires you to be. There doesn't seem to be any ordinary way of getting yourself there, but there might be an extraordinary way. You summon the devil, one of many, and make a deal to enhance your creativity just a bit. You gain +2 creativity. You also lose -3 years of life as your end of the deal, but who cares? They weren't happening in-game anyway. It's almost time for football practice, but you see Scott without his uniform on, looking sadder than you've ever seen him. Poor Scott! I just can't believe it, bro. Coach kicked me off the team. Oh no!
Poor puppy.
It's not fair. How was I supposed to know that new cocaine powder drink contained cocaine? But rules are rules, and apparently doing a bunch of cocaine is against those rules. What am I gonna do, bro? Sports is my life. A life without sports is like a life without life. Please, bro, help me figure out a way to get back on the team. We'd love to help. The only question is, how? Spike the punch with Coke on prom night. If the whole team's on Coke, Coach will have to let you all play.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah. All we've got to do is convince Coach that cocaine is a good thing. A little hands-on demonstration wouldn't hurt.
It's also not a great choice.
Yeah, neither of these are very smart.
Which one is Scott smart?
Which one is Scott smart? Which is... Oh god, they're both stupid. That's the problem. I feel like the first one is more Scott smart, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's more goofy.
Yeah.
The Joker of Aces just said in chat, how to get back on the team, offer the coach some Frosted Flakes. I think the first one is more Scott.
Oh no.
But then everybody will be kicked off the team, even people who aren't on the team. As bad as it hurts not to be on the team, I don't want to make anyone else feel bad. Especially people who have never even played any sports. Can you imagine being kicked off the team before you even get a chance to play? No, it's just like Coach says, everyone deserves a chance at sports, from the tiniest baby to the largest, hairiest baby. Sorry, bro, but 2 wrongs don't make a right. They make a wrong. But the other one was wrong too.
Yeah.
Dang, you're really looking forward to getting the whole high school on coke. Instead, your lack of ethics causes you to lose -2 smarts and -1 fun. Well, my
Aw.
stats are still decent anyway, so.
Yeah. I wanna. Let me look at my stats here. So. I guess I want to go with class. That day, you're the first one in class. You sometimes come early because you enjoy talking to the teacher. He's a bit bitter, but in a cool way. He treats you like an adult, and the two of you discuss life and stuff in a very snarky way. Look at you, excelling at cliched movie tropes. You gain +2 smarts and +1 valuable life insight that will help you face the difficulties of being young. You see Liam staring at a cell phone, sighing deeply. Maybe one of his favorite bands signed to a mainstream record label, or the exact shirt he's wearing is featured on a magazine cover. You decide to check in with him. You know Start Kicker, that viral website where people crowdfund products not good enough to get real investors? Well, thanks, Liam. Do you not know why you exist? Well, today I found something of some interest. A time machine. I mean, it's clearly another terrible overpromise that will be released at least a decade after the due date. And in the end, it will be way shittier than promised, like a toaster attached to a clock. A toaster attached to a clock? Genius! You discreetly write down the idea in your $1 million notebook. Let's see if you can beat those guys to market. But I was sighing deeply because I couldn't help but think, supposing I were to acquire such a machine, I wonder, where in time would I go? 3.85 billion BC, so you can be into existing before it was cool. Or everyone knows the dopest time in monster history was 1925, specifically July 26, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. I feel like I should know what that is referencing, and I don't know what it is.
1925.
July 26, 1925.
Is that related to the start of the Great Depression?
I don't know. 26th, 1925. Yeah, I don't know, like, maybe, I think this one sounds more him, because he wants to be like a hipster. But I don't know what this is referencing, like, I don't get the joke with that, I guess, I don't know.
Let's see,
I'll just go with this one. Dang it! 3.85 billion BC, billions of years before anyone evolved any worthwhile opinions. How can I be ahead of the game if there's no life on the planet to see how ahead of the game I am? How can I show what a unique individual if I'm the only individual? How can I be a brooding loner if there's no one to see me brood? It's like the old adage. If a vampire is trend-setting in a desert, but there's no one there to see it, is a trend even set? You try to correct his memory about the adage, but you've probably pissed him off enough already. You lose -2 smarts and -1 charm. Damn! I just lost the smarts I got.
Oh.
I don't think I'm gonna win this time either. I'm not doing very well. I just want to go to prom with a fake boy.
Hold on,
The
I'm
fake
reading it again real
vampire
quick.
boy. The hipster
Yeah.
fake vampire boy.
Yeah.
You're trying your best.
That day during recess, you start a half-hour rave that goes full crazy. You spot Juan, the small, magical Latino cat, who seems a bit sad. He explains to you that he's worried people are so used to calling him Juan, small, magical Latino cat, that now everyone defines him only by his size, magicality, ethnicity, and species. He's more than that. You correct him. You don't see him in such simplistic terms and convenient definitions. It's just that there are around 23 other different Juans in the school, so adding all that to his name is quite necessary. You tell him you'll never forget about him, and to the crazy adventures you both lived together in Monster Prom's prequel, Monster Middle School. Great time remembering those crazy stories. You gain +2 fun. Polly grabs you by the arm so the two of you can talk, but of course she doesn't stop dancing for even a second. Yo, this party was super crazy for like the first 15 minutes. Now it's super regular crazy, which is fine, but I want to take it to the next level, you know? I want this party to be criminally insane. I want it to be a danger to itself and others. I want psychiatrists to prescribe medication to this party, and then I want to take that medication. Are you with me? Obviously you're with me. I'm hot, and hot people are always right. So how do we kick this party up a notch, huh? Most normal parties only exist in 4 dimensions, but I've made a machine that will let us party in the 5th dimension. Let's steal a bunch of helicopters, stretch a net between them, and party on that.
Do normal parties exist in 4 dimensions?
Huh.
Apparently. Length, width, height, and scent.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't smell everyone else's sweat, you're not partying hard enough.
That's fair.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
So let's extend that to taste, so we could taste everyone in the party.
Oh, please no.
Party gun activate.
No.
You fire your 5th dimension party gun at the rave and immediately realize that you should have tested it beforehand. You accidentally access the 6th dimension instead, which is exactly like our dimension, except it's ruled by evil, sentient butts. And not cool, sexy butts either. Gross, nasty butts with beards. I never thought I'd say this, but get those butts away from my face. You can't, it's too late. The dimensional rift has opened, and the butts are here to stay. You lose -2 fun and -1 charm. Aww.
Damn.
Ocha.
Me again.
Okay.
Okay. That weekend, you find Scott gazing lovingly at a pickle, a sad look in his eyes. Oh, hey, bro. Maybe you can help me make a really tough choice. See, I really like Aspen, but I'm not sure I can commit yet because I also really like this pickle. Look at it. It's so green and warty and exactly the right size for a pickle. Aspen is such a good person, but this pickle is such a good pickle. I can't choose. Won't you help me? Jeez, Aspen, you're fighting against a pickle in this game, I guess.
I don't like pickles.
No?
I do not like pickles. They upset me terribly.
Why?
Because they're pickles.
That's not a good reason.
I know it's not.
That's literally just a pickle. You can make out with Aspen while also having a pickle. It's fine. Are you telling me you just throw away this pickle for a chance with Aspen? A pickle like this only comes along once in a lifetime. I have to go with this one.
Yay.
You telling me I can have this pickle and go out with Aspen? But Coach always says you can't have your pickle and eat it too. Wait, are you saying that if I go out with Aspen, I don't have to eat the pickle? Well, yes, that's a true thing. You have no idea why you thought you would have to eat the pickle. Unbelievable! All this time I thought I was really in a pickle, but it turns out the pickle was inside me all along.
God.
Outside of me, but it doesn't need to be inside of me, and I don't need to be inside of it, so it's simple. It is really simple, way simpler than Scott's making it, but you know better than to get between a werewolf and his pickle. You gain +3 charm. Okay.
Challenge.
Everybody chooses a celebrity. Say your choice out loud to the rest of the players.
Keanu Reeves.
Before clicking. Oh no. Gene Wilder.
Who's the actor that plays Snape?
Oh, Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman?
Yeah, Alan Rickman.
Okay.
Okay.
Player order is decided based on how likely it would be for the selected celebrity to lead a group during a zombie apocalypse. Start debating now.
Keanu Reeves would have that no problem.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, and I think Alan Rickman would do better as well. Gene Wilder, he had a chocolate factory.
Yeah, so...
I mean, he was lovely, so I think I'll be last.
Yeah.
But I think Keanu definitely, action guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would be fine. He would be perfect.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Alright, so first, second, I'll go last.
Okay. I need to do good and make my fake boyfriend fall in love with me. So let me look at my thing. So I have some smarts, some creativity, and then money. I think I'm gonna go smarts again. That day the teacher is just tired of teaching, so she recurs to the classic technique of not giving a shit and putting on some kind of historical TV show for you to watch. What you don't expect is that it's super effective. God bless the golden era of television. The TV show is compelling thanks to the ridiculous amount of nudity and bloodshed, but at the same time you actually learn a lot about history. You gain +2 smarts. At the end of the class, the teacher passes back your quizzes from last week. Liam looks at his and sighs. Just another fascistic assessment in a long line of fascistic assessments. Don't get me wrong, my performance on these little charades is exceptional. I am devastatingly intelligent, but I find the entire enterprise distasteful. Must we be weighed and measured like so much raw steak? Elroy the swamp monster snorts derisively. Alright, but sucker, if you're so smart, how are they supposed to assess us without tests? Well, I mean, given time, I'm sure I could come up with, obviously. This is not going well for Liam. You jump in to save the day. Rap battles is the only fair way. A brutal fight to the death, or are you too chicken? I don't know, neither of these really scream Liam to me.
Yeah, that's hard.
I mean, most of Liam's personality is hidden, so...
Yeah. Maybe rap battles? I don't know. I'm just gonna go with rap battles. Oh, okay. Yes, that's precisely what I was about to say. As we all know, one does not truly grasp a subject until one can rap fluently about it. No one would dispute that Snoop Dogg is a reigning expert on the distribution and consumption of marijuana, for example. That's very true. Yes, very good. I'll start a petition immediately. This will definitely impress Reddit. You give Liam his first signature. You're not sure he'll get many more. In any case, you gain +2 fun and +1 creativity. Sweet.
Alright, I could just... More party.
More party?
Yeah, party. That day during recess, you start a half-hour rave that goes full crazy. You're talking to Juan Small now.
You're talking to Juan again.
the small magical Latino cat, when he tells you that you won't ever be as fun as Bob the Scary Clown, you accept the challenge. You go straight to Bob, stab him several times, open his bleeding chest, and eat some of his guts in order to consume his fun. Really? Do you think that's how this works? Well, it is. You gain +2 fun from poor Bob. You see Polly looking unusually depressed. She's usually on hella good drugs at this time of day. You ask what's up. I'm gonna live forever. I was yelling that at a party last night because they were playing that cheesy Fame song. You know, the one, how's it called? Oh yes, I'm gonna live forever. Duh. But then I realized it's like literally actually true. And forever is like a really, really, really long time. You know? What if I run out of stuff to do? What if aliens take over and they ban partying? What if the Earth blows up and I have to live in space with dumb, boring space animals? I get bored when the bus takes an extra 10 minutes to arrive. How am I ever gonna stay hyped for eternity?
Meth.
Meth.
Whoa, you're like a genius. All this time I've been avoiding meth because it like kills you or whatever, but it can't kill me. I'm already dead. I'm already dead, but I'll live forever.
Right.
Can't make me lose my teeth. I'm a ghost. Don't got no teeth. I can see your teeth in this picture. It's like meth was designed for me. This is basically the biggest life hack ever. Or should I say death hack? Holly's good mood almost makes that pun worth it. You gain +2 fun and +1 boldness.
I don't know. What do I need? I don't need to be that smart anyway. Boldness.
Maybe he would go more for either charm or fun. I don't know what he would. I mean, I don't know what he would go for.
I have loads of charm.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, I can go for fun, but fun is the tree, and that
Yeah.
that's an option. I have either smarts. Oh well. I accidentally clicked. I do that all the time. That day you spend some time on the library's PCs playing some good old online poker. Gambling seems like a stupid and dangerous decision, but who cares? This time it paid off, so fuck it. You gain +2 money. You glance at the computer next to you to see Scott apparently making out with the CD drive.
Oh God!
You
Please
don't
do
want to, but you ask him what he's doing. The best I can, bro. The computer won't go on the internet because of some kind of error. And the only kind of error I know is a fatal error. So I'm giving the computer mouth-to-mouth to save its life.
Oh God!
Live, damn you, live! You immediately notice that the computer's Ethernet cable is unplugged. But you let Scott keep blowing into the CPU. Maybe you can have a little fun before you fix it for him. You put on your best troubleshooting face and tell him. The problem is that you're giving mouth-to-mouth to the computer instead of me.
That's smooth.
Oh, I've seen this before. You need to take off your clothes and do 3 laps around the library yelling all the numbers you know. Oh my God, he would do that too.
He would, yeah.
Oh no. So, do I be smooth or do I tell him to do something ridiculously stupid that he would absolutely do?
I really don't know.
I mean, I have a lot of charm.
You do have a lot of charm. You'd probably win that if you did the top one.
You know, I'll just go for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Duh. Of course. Mouth-to-mouth doesn't work on a computer. It doesn't even have a mouth. But you do have a mouth, so it's gotta work. Scott spends the next 20 minutes saving your life. You helpfully inform him that mouth-to-mouth requires more tongue.
Damn.
He gets so into it that you're able to plug the Ethernet cable back in without him noticing. Hey, it worked! Woof, that was fun. Maybe my computer should die more often. You believe that can be arranged. You gain +2 charm and +1 fun.
Damn, Aspen, you just made out with a guy for like 20 minutes.
Damn!
Lucky.
Oh my God, I do have a fast trigger click. Okay, challenge.
Yep.
Everybody chooses something bad. Say your choice out loud to the rest of the players before clicking. Global warming.
Heroin.
Taxation.
Okay. Player order is decided based on how badass a criminal called Mike the Selected Thing Johnson would be. Start debating now. I did not live with it. I did not win this one. Mike the Global Warming Johnson.
Mike the Taxation Johnson? I don't know.
Mike
What
the
was yours, something?
Heroin.
Heroin,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I think heroin would probably be the most badass of the...
Alright.
Mike the Heroin.
Yeah.
I mean, because that just sounds like a female hero.
Yeah.
True.
Mike the Heroin Johnson. Honestly, that's like a legit gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe...
Although, like, Mike the Taxation Johnson, like, you know, as a criminal, maybe the tax is giving him all your money.
Maybe.
I mean, it makes more sense.
Hmm.
Mine just makes the least sense. Mine's lame.
Wait, remind me what both of you said.
I said global warming, and I just said taxation.
Like the global warming. Yeah, like the taxi. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely won. You two
Yeah.
battle to the death to decide who gets second.
Oh no, I think Ocha's second.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that.
Okay, go for it. Lunchtime! Lunchtime.
Okay. I get to actually sit with my girl now.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
You arrive at your table to find the Coven eating and Polly and Miranda screaming. Oh my god, it's the exact same one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it totally is. Oh no, making you less sexy?
How is that even possible?
I mean, if I can get into your brain, I can probably make you more sexy. That was Miranda, so that, yes. You reach into your pouch of drugs and pull out a handful of miscellaneous pills, which you sprinkle on the Coven's mashed potatoes.
Like you do.
As one does.
I always keep my pouch of drugs nearby.
What are you doing? Are you trying to drug us, idiot? Winners don't do drugs. You know what? How about we just move to another table? Haha, suckers. They left their druggy potatoes. Looks like everything's turning up Polly. Polly eats all the drugs out of the potatoes and then decides she's a canoe. A canoe that thinks you're kind of cute.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I guess I'll sit with Liam. As you approach your chosen table, you see Liam carefully framing his artfully arranged jelly dessert for a transcendent food pick when FOODPIC, ride those picks to victory. What? What does that even mean? When I say food, you say pick. Food.
Pick.
No. Food.
Pick.
Stop. 2, 4, picks, 8. Food do we appreciate? Food picks. Food picks. Go. Cease this incessant chanting this instant. What? But I'm trying to help you take the best food pick. You've been trying to take this food pick for like 20 minutes now. You gotta snap a pic so you can eat your tasty food. I don't eat, Scott. I only order this food so I can take pictures of it, and you're not helping. I know. My cheerleading just isn't good enough. What I need is a cheer partner to take me to the next level. No, what you need is a swift kick in the... But it's too late. Scott's already chosen you as his cheer partner. Now it's up to you to... it's up to you what the two of you will do. We gotta pick Liam up and toss him in the air. It's the only way to really amp him up. Liam's food picks are arts. We've gotta use art to cheer him on. The quiet art of mime. I gotta do the miming, right?
Oh yeah.
You lead Scott in a totally artistic, totally silent mime cheer that involves an invisible rope, an invisible dog sled, and an invisible hot dog buffet. You eventually leave Scott trapped inside a tiny box and move with Liam to another table. Thanks for saving me from that. True food photography, or as I call it, les photographies des aliments, cannot be... Yeah, cannot be rushed. I do not speak French, I'm sorry. Are you sure he's okay over there in that box? You're pretty sure he's fine. You let him out at the end of lunch and he licks your face, but most importantly, Liam tags you in his triumphant food pick. Is this for real?
Oh my god.
Oh
Maybe,
my
you know what?
God.
I am going to sit over here. Maybe I can get advice from Coach
Yeah, that's a good idea.
about Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
About life and everything. You're about to take the first bite of your delicious cafeteria lunch when Coach appears out of nowhere. Stop! You can't eat that! You're not warmed up yet! Do you want to strain your jaw? Sprain your esophagus? Pull your intestines? I thought I taught you kids better than this. Come on, stand up. Let's get our food on. You look disappointed. Don't worry, little buddy. I'll let you choose the workout. We've got two options. Playing with your food, specifically playing football with your food. An absolutely ridiculous number of push-ups. Both sound terrible.
Yeah. I wonder what you'll get from having a conversation with the coach.
I have no idea. But playing football with food sounds a little more fun.
Yeah.
Coach helps you set up your peas and mashed potatoes in a classic football formation, and you animate them with forbidden magics. Perfect! Now the food will get all warmed up, so it's ready to take the nutrition all the way to your end zone. The end zone is your
Is that-
stomach,
oh.
and eventually
gonna
your
say-
butt.
I was gonna say, is it your butt?
Your food throws down in the most intense football game ever. It all comes down to a controversial call by the broccoli ref. You turn around to find the whole rest of the cafeteria watching your game and betting on the results. They're even more entertained when you command all the players to dive into your mouth. You gain +4 fun! Let's go!
Wow.
I
They're
think
so fun.
that would work really well with Scott, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Player orders decide based on how... Oh.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Wait,
Oh, no, it isn't. Player
For
orders
your
decide how
country, if you
based
were
on how shitty it would be for your
Oh.
country if you were the president.
Oh, okay.
I do not win this one. People have told me I should run for office way too often. Yeah, I take the L.
I have ADHD and also I'm kind of lazy, so I don't know.
I think the country would be very fun if swimming were president. I would just be like the most responsible one probably.
Yeah.
And it would be good but would be bad. I don't know.
Hmm. I have like the complete like utter hatred of politics, so I
Yeah.
don't think I would be a good president at all.
So I think maybe it's pretty much between me and swimming. I'd probably, I don't know, because I think swimming would make it fun,
Yeah.
but I would make it work, and that's probably more important to make it work because I'm hyper responsible and.
It's based on how shitty it would be for this person, for you to be
Right.
president. So maybe,
Like I said, I probably wouldn't do much of anything.
Right.
yeah.
I think
don't know.
I would probably be the least shitty because things would actually get done. So
Yeah.
I'm in third place on this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just flip a coin, I guess, for the other two of us. I don't know.
Do I have a coin? I
Or just-
don't, but I have a nail file that says file on one side and buff on the other. Should I
Okay.
throw that in the air? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, Oh wait, I had to ask, which one are you? File or buff?
I want to be buff.
Okay. Oh, just file. Alright. It landed. Where did it land? Oh, hang on. It's on buff.
Yes!
Okay. So swimming, then Ocha, then me.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't know if I've even earned enough hearts to even go to prom with Liam at this point. I don't know.
I'm still aiming for Polly.
Yeah, go for
Squirrel
it.
partying. That day during recess, you start a half-hour rave that goes full crazy. You're casually chatting with Juan, the small magical Latino cat. You start telling him that hilarious story of what happened last summer at Monster Camp. You know which one. The one involving the beehive, the blow-up doll of the president, the penguin mask, and the mystery of the Goblin King. Slowly, lots of people start joining you to hear the story. By the time you say where the Goblin King was, 100 people or so burst into hysterical laughter. You turn on a mobile app that captures all the laughter and turns into +2 fun.
Nice.
Forget about that though, Polly's here and she looks ready to party, so basically just normal. There you are, my favorite party favor besides ecstasy. You ready to get crazy? You indicate through a heart-stopping glow stick maneuver that you are indeed ready to hit the clubs. The clubs, not tonight, boo. Tonight, we're gonna engage in my favorite pastime, party crashing. I just love crashing parties and making them go wilder and crazier, you know? Tonight we're gonna crash this totally sweet baby shower I just heard about. And knowing you, I bet you've got some killer ideas for how we should crash it.
Oh my god.
Nothing amps up a baby shower like extra babies.
But usually it's
Literally
before the
crazy.
baby is born, right? So why would there be more babies?
Oh my god. I
Unless
kinda
the
wanna-
mom is Octomom.
Oh, that's
I want
true.
this to turn into a massive sex joke. But I feel like this is more poly, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought the babies. Damn it!
Aww.
Yes, finally, something to do with all those babies. I wanted that raffle. But on the way to the party, the police pull over Polly's dump truck. Oh no, the cops. I'm not going back to jail. I mean, I can't just walk through the walls like last time. I can just walk through the walls like last time, but it looks bad on my college transcript. Polly disappears, leaving you the sole owner of a dump truck full of babies. In order to keep the cops off your back, you have to adopt all 407 of them,
Jesus.
leaving you
Oh,
with much less time
no.
for romance. You lose -2 charm and -1 money.
Oh no.
That's a lot of babies to have in a truck. I think I'm gonna do auditorium. That day, while rehearsing for the class play, you do a terrific job of acting. You act so hard that some of your classmates in the audience throw roses at you. 7 roses to be exact. Damn, roses aren't a valid currency or stat in this game. Anyway, you check your converter app to see that if this could translate into something a bit more useful. It seems 7 roses equals 2 creativity points. Sweet, you gain +2 creativity. After rehearsal, you notice Liam, Polly, and Miranda staying late. You expect this from Liam, but Polly and Miranda, something's up. No, no, no. We need something transcendent, something fresh. Liam giving us both back rubs is neither of those things. Whatever. I don't like your tone. Honestly, I don't know why either of you even signed up to help with the intermission performance. Principal Giant Spider said I could do this instead of taking math. Academics at the school are a joke. It's awesome. Intermission performance? Polly told me we were coming here for back rubs. Well, you're both here now. We've got to make the best of it. Let's give that audience the best 13 minutes of their lives. A rousing speech. You have my scepter. You know what? That does sound fun. Let's do it. So, any ideas? Ugh, no. How are we gonna do a great performance if we don't even know what we're gonna perform? Reenact Snow White. Miranda can be Snow White, Liam can be the prince, and Polly can be every single other character. Literally just throw money at them. People love money.
Well, you have 9 money.
I
And
do.
you have 9 creativity.
I'm pretty sure money is the Miranda.
Yeah.
Creativity, I think, is Liam.
So, let's do Snow White, I guess.
Oh,
yes. The role I was born to play. Literally, a prophecy foretells that I one day fall asleep after an allergic reaction to an apple.
Oh gosh.
Are you sure Polly can play all of those roles? There's at least 7 other. Hell yeah! Finally, a use for all these false beards I've been collecting and all these amphetamines. In that case, we have a cast. I'll have to spend some time ruling a small kingdom, of course, to get into character. Oh, you can use Lemuria. Father just had their old prince executed. You kick back to watch them rehearse. Polly pulls out like 20 fake beards from God knows where. You gain +2 fun and +1 creativity.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay. Not library, class, gym, bathrooms. Oh, let's go to the gym. That day, an epic dodgeball match takes place. But the match isn't as important as the human interactions within it. You're at your peak when you decide to go for the overkill and wink at one of your teammates. He's totally mesmerized. It's the most epic wink ever. Damn, you know how to win over people's hearts. I have so much charm.
You're so charming.
I am so charming. You're minding your own business when Scott jogs up and gives you a friendly punch on the shoulder. It almost destroys you. Hey bro, I was just looking for you. The big game's today, and I need a friendly face to pep me up. I know. We've got cheerleaders for that, or whatever. But between you and me, bro, I don't think our cheerleaders are hype enough. They're supposed to be giving 110%, but they're giving only 107, 108 tops. That's why I need you to give 115% at the game tonight, so I can give 120 or even 135. That is such good math. Thanks, bro. I know I can count on you. See you tonight. Scott bumps your fist and sprints off without even waiting for you to agree to this cheerleading scheme. You guess this is what it's like to be Scott's bro. So, what are you gonna do to get him amped at the game? Pick the other cheerleaders up and juggle them, or dress up like the full moon and perch at the top of the bleachers? Maybe he'll transform. But is it a good idea for him to transform?
I mean, that would amp him up quite a bit.
True. But I don't know that I'm strong enough to pick up the cheerleaders and juggle them. I don't know. Go to the top of the bleachers. You know what? I'll just do the bleachers one. Ugh.
Oh.
You don't have much time to improvise a costume, so you grab a beach ball from the gym and spray paint it silver. No sooner have you reached the top of the bleachers than a drunken Sasquatch in the crowd mistakes you for a toy. She chucks you up into the air, and you spend the entire game getting punched and tossed by happy members of the crowd. By the time you finally get free and return your organs to their proper places, the game's over. Your team lost. No! You catch up with Scott in the hallway after. He looks like someone stole his favorite bone. Where were you, bro? I thought you were gonna give 115% tonight. You gave 0 instead. I'm no math wizard, but I think 0 is a lot less than 115. It's almost 100 less.
Almost.
It's a bummer you missed the game, too, because there was this fun silver ball we all got to punch. Your loss, I guess. Your loss, indeed.
Aww.
Lost one too fun and one creativity, but I still have charm!
You're so charming, though.
I'm so charming!
Oh, we're done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fun to choose somebody who you absolutely didn't talk to at all.
Yeah. You can just go with none of them as well.
Oh, I didn't realize I was the one choosing. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I don't know how it kept jumping back and forth between people. Obviously I'm going for Polly. Let's see how I did. Yes.
Go with my man Liam.
Hey.
Okay, Scott, forgive me.
Alright. You finally pluck up your courage and ask your beloved to go to the monster prom with you. Why? Not a chance in the world, darling. Poor life choices is how I died, so now I could tell a poor afterlife choice when I see one. And Boone, you're a big one.
What?
How
It's
rude.
okay. You moved on from this horrible and shameful failure. You became a functional person, and eventually you met a sweet banshee called Ash. You shared lots of common interests, and after dating for some years, you married. One day, in the middle of a casual conversation, you mentioned how you couldn't get a date for Monster Prom. Despite your years of happiness, your marriage couldn't endure such a pathetic revelation, and so Ash abandoned you the next day. And thus you lived the rest of your life alone and sad. Never forget, Monster Prom is the most important thing.
I don't want to ask him anymore.
Oh.
You and me? Whoosh. I'm not attracted to you in that way. Actually, I think the only way I'm attracted to you is through this tiny gravitational force that your body has as a solid mass. That's something, right? Clearly, this was too much for you. You abandoned high school and spent the rest of your life designing a robot for sex purposes. That was what I said the last time!
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as soon as your robot lover got true AI, it rejected you. I got rejected twice by a sex robot.
I'm not gonna do well. Prom? I don't know if this tingling is love or the 5 energy drinks I just drank, but this feels like the right thing to do!
I think you
Let's
did
go to
it.
prom together!
You did it!
I did it! It's definitely the 5 energy drinks, but who cares?
So he must be after Charming, I guess?
Prom
After
night was
Charm?
rad. Well, there was that part when the full moon came out and Scott transformed into a rabid wolf and nearly killed 3 people. But aside from that, it was a wonderful night to remember.
Look at your cute dress.
It's a very cute dress. Aspen most likely to start a cult, and Liam best at being purple. Nice.
Yeah, he is pretty good at being purple, isn't he?
He's very good at being purple. Yay!
You did it.
All right. Those 3 weeks were maybe the most epic and absurd weeks of our lives. After the monster prom, we kept on living our lives, falling in love, battling for friendship, and learning about who we were and who we could be. And you know what? Like it always does, life happened. And it was wonderful. Scott became an athlete. Not so long ago, he won a prestigious national award for being the best at doing sports. Polly graduated from doing lots of ayahuasca, and now she appears to hallucinating people and acts as their spirit animal. Nice. Liam kept doing art so hard that he eventually evaporated and became the concept of coolness itself. As he left the physical plane, the last thing Liam did was give everyone a condescending look.
No.
For those 3 weeks, the monster prom seemed larger than life, and then it was gone. Just like that. The battle for monster prom might have ended then, but there were plenty of battles left in that war called youth. But once again, we were young and unafraid, and we were ready to start. Oh, I have to escape. There. Alright.
Alright, Liam started an iconoclastic band that broke all conventions. Their latest album has been a hit. It has no songs at all. The album is actually just a banana set on fire. Reread this one. And be sure, Liam doesn't care if you get it. Scott became a world-renowned athlete, but he ended his career to come back to his hometown and take on the job of the athlete he admired the most. Now he's back at high school again, working as the coach.
Nice.
Polly took a summer job as the ghost of Christmas present. She spent most of her time partying. There was almost no work because, you know, it was summer. For those 3 weeks, the Monster Prom seemed larger than life, and then it was gone, just like that. The battle for Monster Prom might have ended then, but there were plenty of battles left in that war called youth. But once again, we were young and unafraid, and we were ready to start.
Nice.
Well, me and swimming are
Oh.
forever alone.
I just unlocked a new secret ending.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, the best ending I've gotten in this game. So there's this whole thing about Damien and how he wants to punch the sun.
Yeah.
So I unlocked his secret ending where instead of going to prom, we steal the school's space shuttle and we fly to the sun so he can punch it.
That's a great ending.
It's so good. I love that ending so much. It makes me so
Wow.
happy.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. So maybe we should do this again sometime. I have the other Monster Prom games, so
Yeah.
yeah. It's so fun.
Yeah, we could totally do this again. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Was it different monsters in the other one?
Yeah. So there's also Monster Prom second term. So if we
Mhm.
play second term, we have different characters that we can date. And then
So the second term is DLC for this game. That's actually what
Right.
I'm running right now.
right. So there's also Monster Camp and Monster Road Trip. And there's another one. There's 4. Here, hang on a second. Let me check Steam real quick.
Monster Road Trip.
Yeah, so Monster Camp, Monster Road Trip, Monster Prom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Monster Camp is Monster Prom 2. Monster Road Trip is Monster Prom 3.
Yeah.
Right, right. Okay.
And they're all on sale right now at various amounts off.
Yes,
Right.
it is Steam's Screamfest right now.
Right, right. So, yeah. So, gosh, I should probably get to bed soon. I have a dental appointment tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. That was
I
so
need to
much
go to bed
fun, you
too.
guys, though. I really had a blast with that.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Thanks for hosting and thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so much fun. And then let's see. I'm doing my Halloween short story ASMR on Halloween night. So I'll be reading 3 of my own personally written short stories. So if people are curious about how I write, you can find out by showing up on Halloween night. And it'll be horror and horror comedy. So, should be fun. And I don't know, what are you guys up to next?
I don't know. I mean, I have a convention this weekend, so I'm not gonna be streaming all weekend.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I will be at a cider festival.
Oh, nice.
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 Yeah, a My Little Pony themed cider festival.
Oh, how
okay.
cute.
It is fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not doing anything this week. I decided to take this week off, so I'm just hanging out with you guys. So
Cool. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we can... Here, I'm going to turn off the game. Hang on a sec.
I just did that.
Quit. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So, let's just... I guess we can say goodbye, and then I'll let you guys go, and I'll say goodbye to chat, and have a good night.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. So, yeah, Isekai Mailbox survived. If you want to know about the adventures of Isekai Mailbox, I have chronicled it on Blue Sky today. You are always welcome to check that out. Sometimes I'm very weird, and my sense of humor shows it. But, you know what? I am happy to be weird. So, yeah. So tomorrow, I have my dental appointment. I have some thoughts about tomorrow, because I might do something tomorrow. We'll have to see. But it'll be a surprise. So, yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Depending on what's going on, I might do something, I might not. Keep an eye on Blue Sky or Twitter. I'll probably post something if I do plan on doing something. And yeah, so have a wonderful night, everybody. Sleep well if you're heading off to bed soon. If you are wide awake, enjoy being wide awake, I guess. Yeah, that's it. So have a great night. I hope we do this again, because that was so much fun. I like doing character voices, and I always like doing Polly as a bit of a valley girl. But yeah, so much fun. So have a pleasant evening, everybody. Let's see who we're gonna raid. There has to be somebody fun we can raid tonight. Let's see who is on Twitch. Let's see. Should we go raid my Ice Dragon brother? He's playing Monster Hunter Wilds. That's pretty fun. We can raid... We're not going to raid SwimmingLink because SwimmingLink is doing the same game as we are. What else can we do? Yeah, let's just go raid Winter Rain. Yeah, it's hard to find somebody to raid sometimes. All right, let's go say hi to Winter Rain. So, let's see. Raid. Winter Rain. Okay. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
And then it can do the spin and then I'll swing again. Wow, there's a lot of spinning in